Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Looks like our channel this morning is breaking, but we are starting to tap into a zone. Now, I did look at this zone very thoroughly yesterday to see the big area here, but it looks like we have a pretty big area where we can make some reversal signals as volatility was increasing. We want to see if we get some bigger swings down in these areas. But something that I'm still paying attention to is this a corrective move, right? We're still going to be paying attention to potential upside because of the daily chart, but that daily chart is starting to go down negative, right? We do have weekly confirmation at this point on the Qs suggesting that downside is the most likely option, right? The weekly chart is a bigger time frame than the daily. I got to clean some of this up, whoops. But that would tell us we should expect downside and then look out for reversal signals in case this is some kind of trap. So still paying attention to the daily chart here for the Qs. We get PPI tomorrow. That is a mistake I made in my video last night. I think I said CPI is tomorrow. PPI on Tuesday, CPI on Wednesday is what I overall saw out there. But a big deal for today is we are breaking through the channel, so we have to see if we're going to be able to buy back up into that channel today. If you start to break that channel and you confirm that on a daily basis, you might be heading lower, really low, down into the weekly expected move, down towards 567.30 to the downside. And then 593.68 to the upside for that upside expected move. But look which one you're pointing to right now. So we'll pay attention to these levels. As of right now, it looks like you're right at a daily expected move, 575.58 to the downside. And we do see 585.40 to the upside there. Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Apple, great little retest here again. We'll see if this is going to be able to hold up. Remember, Apple, if you're part of Patreon, you know why you're paying attention to Apple. Apple is telling you some serious things. Now, is it showing you a strong base here? No. Is it showing you a strong base here? No. Is it showing you a daily curl up? No. But this is where we will pay attention. We were always looking for this area for Apple. So Apple is one that is seriously on my radar at this point. I think it could head lower, right? It could head all the way down into 229.60, something like this area. Because that's technically the first real little box right here is where you actually like saw the wicks, saw the wicks, saw the wicks, and then you finally gapped up a little bit and broke through. So that's another level that I'd be paying attention to, but still watching my 236.36 and monthly expected moves for Apple. If you're part of Patreon, you can see those levels. Volatility, if you're wondering, popped out of the channel as well, so popped up through the downtrend line. And what we're noticing here is this is happening as the SPY is breaking through its channel. So today's going to be a very important day. Do the buyers step in? Bears have been seriously in control of this overall move, as we can see, and now we haven't had the bulls give us one of these moments. So it's kind of worrisome when the bulls aren't willing to step in. So we'll see what happens with this going forward. For the most part, we just want to be paying attention to intra-week. Hey, do we see any 30-minute divergences down by weekly expected moves right now for the SPY? You do not have that. We can go check on into the futures and things like that. I don't have updated levels for the futures. But one thing that I do know is important is this level that I have marked off here, 5,790. That is a serious level for us. That is where we really started to break out from, a little zone in here. So I am marking that off and seeing if we can hold above that by the end of the week. So that'll be something that I am looking into. One thing that I think could see a more dramatic drop if these yields continue to head higher is actually IWM. IWM, I do not have the correct levels there. You can see we really consolidated towards our 222.60. We're dropping lower into our zone. This is a very small zone, but this could actually, we could extend this as volatility has increased and bring that down to where it actually broke out from and actually bring that down a little bit and say, hey, this is actually more so probably going to be the zone. And so we'll pay attention to it. We really broke through this easily, so going down to here is very nice. We really just gapped through this and keep going down. Paying attention to this will be important because you still see 2-hour divergence across now. Like now you have 2-hour divergence across, so if that 2-hour can turn up, it might actually mean good things for IWM. We're just reacting. We know we are in a downtrend. So anytime we see some kind of rip and then that curls back down, it's always very likely as you're in that downtrend, right? We're in negative territory to test the low, go make a new one. So if this wasn't heading down and this was to bounce, it could just be a retest to actually fall again. Remember, these levels have not been updated on the chart as of right now. We might do that later, but IWM, if you want that as well, it's over on Patreon. So big expected move for IWM, by the way. It's like 30% implied volatility this week. Where's the SPY bottom? I think in this zone we'll likely get a bounce. The question in this zone, well, the question for today is, do we end outside of the channel? If you end outside of the channel, like we confirm down on the daily chart down in these areas, I think you're very likely to go down to the weekly expected move. That's where I'd be looking for a bounce, but will that bounce just be some kind of big retest and then we end up falling again? Or are we actually going to see this build up over time, right? Be able to take all this back and stuff like that. But the truth is, you're in a negative trend. So anytime that this bounces up, if that just retests and rejects, hey, that's what the opportunities I'm looking for. And that's what I was mainly talking about over the weekend. I hope it wasn't misconstrued. The weekly signals have confirmed, hey, we have crash potential, right? It's saying we have a probable crash like top. Or some kind of corrective top at this point because of the daily chart. So we're paying attention to if things can turn back up, that would be our risk. And then we're looking for an opportunity. An opportunity would have been, hey, we go up to a daily expected move and then you see that fail. Then the next day you break through the channel, right? I don't really see this as an opportunity to start a short position, right? These areas up here towards that weekly expected move, short position. This is a weekly expected move just above you this past week. Hey, that's where you look for the short position. Or as the 2 hour crosses down, even all the way down towards 587, 588, those levels were very good. And then you see that continued downside, but getting into it here starts to get a little bit like, we could see some kind of intra-week bounce at some point, right? We could see some kind of bounce on for like 2 days and then end up crossing back down. And that's more what I want to be paying attention to, is an actual good opportunity to where people think this is a bottom and then it crosses down and we go, okay, we're going to head a little bit lower. And then that would be more my opportunity at that point, right? We're just talking about things as far as trading goes. That was mainly what I was talking about over the weekend. No new all-time highs. You still have potential to do so, weirdly enough. You still have some potential to do so. Now, that's why I'm saying it's really important. If you see this break the channel, retest, and go lower, you will have more downside. But just let me know. What do you think happens if we make a 2 hour, like say, triple divergence down by the monthly? Well, we're going to get a daily bounce. And if that daily bounce never rolls back down, what would you do? Go to all-time highs. So I'm going to think more like that. I'm just going to follow the signals. I'm not going to try to let my internal opinion dictate my trading, right? I don't trade based on my opinion of something. I don't trade based on my thinking of something. I trade based on, hey, do I see a good signal right here? Okay, we're going to see a little upside bounce. Okay, maybe I take profit at a weekly expected move and then that drops again, right? That's all I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm not trying to dictate my trading based on thoughts and prayers. I'm trying to dictate my trading based on what I've put on my whiteboard way back in the day, right? What I put on my whiteboard was I need 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade. And I don't have those 3 to 5 reasons, so I can sit on my hands, watch this play out, and then anytime I see that, if volatility is going to be higher and you're right, and we are going to crash just straight down or keep seeing these rips down, we are going to see some big rips that then will fail. And then this is my opportunity, or this might be my opportunity for a little trade here, play it to here, see some failure, get out, get back in the short side, right? I can play back and forth. If volatility is higher, that's very, very fun to do. So that's what I'm planning. Yeah, this head and shoulders here, the measured head and shoulders would actually take you down to about a monthly expected move here, weirdly enough. So the measurement takes you almost down to here, which is technically a breakout area, which is really, really funny. But yeah, we got to pay attention to today. We got to see if we're actually going to break down. People are very, very bearish. That's perfectly justified at this point. We got to see what happens from here. You don't have any reversal signals from volatility. You really don't. Remember the hourly signal we were paying attention to, you got rid of it. You got rid of it. You violated the divergence point. Now you just have a flat divergence, if not a little bit down over here. So it could be considered it, but it's not on both at the same time. So you're very likely to see this go whoop one more time. We'll see what happens with PPI and CPI though. That can shake things up. I'm ready. I'm ready. Dollar still seeing a upward push as of right now. Yield seeing a slight upward push as of right now. So we're looking at our 2 hours and stuff. No 2 hour there, no 2 hour there. So strong moves continuing for the dollar. Notice the daily has not confirmed down at all. Notice the 10-year yield has not confirmed down at all. We'll see how the data reacts to these type of things. As we do have divergence on both, we need to be paying attention if those things start to whip back down. Remember, people are reacting because the yields are going insane. Bonds are going straight down. And inflation's the big scare. If we start to get data that says really good things for inflation, we start to see this drop dramatically, that actually can be seen as positive for the market. So that could just be a small bounce to then curl down again, right? That's all I'm talking about. I'm trying to find the opportunity for an actual short position or call position if the structure is suitable. I'm in Google and TSM put. Let's go look at Google. Google's been interesting. I wonder if that fell down. Okay, so that did fall down deeper. 2 hour cross down and going negative. One thing about the 2 hour that was interesting is you tried to match the high, very, very good, but you're mainly in this consolidative state here. I think you're still in some kind of continuation triangle at this point. If you violate the triangle, hey, all said and done, that's kind of bad, right? So I'm going to take that spot right there. We're going to not make this super huge. I might pull that up just a little bit more. So for now, we pointed out this right here. That divergence has led to big downside. We'll see if that can continue. California showed they will need federal government to dole out billings aid. Okay, we'll get to that in one moment. Let me do this. I think this is kind of what you're looking at here. You're going, does this break down? Does it break up? Well, what does it look like it's doing right now? It looks like it's breaking down, right? It looks like it's breaking down. And the 30-minute is just going even further negative at this point. So the little flatness that you had down here is kind of getting violated. Hey, thank you so much, Short Fridays, for the $10. Question, Cali fires. Hold on, let me read it first. Strong even longer. Cali wildfires show they will need federal government to dole out billions in aid. That means more printing of cash equaling weakening dollar and stocks stronger even longer. I don't know if that would dictate strength in stocks necessarily, though. So the reason I don't know if it would dictate strength in stocks is because overall you have to think of it this way. The fire burned a lot of things, and then those things go, say, down to zero. But then if the government's going to supplement and build it all back, then you're just getting back to where you started. So if you think about it from an inflation or a money pumping standpoint, the money pumping has to go past what was lost, right? If a stock goes down $10 and a buyer comes in and pays the $10 to buy it back up, it's going to be at the same price that it was before the drop. That's the only thing I would think into. But as we have seen stocks suffering, hey, maybe that is a point to build back up. But I wouldn't look into it that way. I don't think that would really generate money into stocks, is what I'm saying. If you're going to get money printing that's going to go into stocks, that's why people talk about stimulus and things like that. Because a lot of people during, say, COVID times, they were able to push back rent for a few months and things like that. They were able to get, stimulus checks during that time, and they supposedly, a lot of areas didn't have to pay rent for, say, 6 months. Now, when that rent wasn't paid for 6 months, that's when you can see stocks gain some value because you don't have to use that money to pay for things, right? If you get stalled out. Does that make sense? To rebuild that fire takes 10 years minimum. Contractors will gouge these insurance companies and government systems as payback. Oh, 100%. I am very critical of insurance and things like that. The fact that insurance is in bed with government is just like the silliest thing ever, because they will, one, it could be, say, backed by the government, right? If you have anything backed by the government, it can be bad things, and it will just go up and up and up in price. So my thing is, like, who started the fire? That's what I'm sitting there wondering. Why is this fire starting on? Because if you tell me it's natural and then you show me videos of people saying they're starting fires, I'm just like, it's pretty strange. AMC to 330. I don't know if you're going all the way down to 330. Save the fish though, yeah. I don't know about 330. I think it's possible for sure. Even you know, something like $3, actually, yeah, 330 could be pretty possible. Let's look at it on the daily scale. As we've gotten rid of that daily signal, look at that, curls down. Are you ready to react? It's going lower. What could be happening here? Well, we could end up all the way back down towards these levels, actually. You could go and fill this kind of stuff, actually. I don't think you're gonna fill this. Actually, that's possible. It's very crazy to say, but it is very possible for AMC to actually go all the way down and fill this gap. That's kind of wild, but now that I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's 100% possible. Because you're breaking channel, you could head lower. Now, do I think this will be a straight shot down? No, I think this will catch something at some point. But will it just be another like sideways movement that caused another drop? That's kind of what I'm wondering. At least during this sideways movement, you were able to build up, create some kind of floor and build up, right? But we know how this thing likes to drop. It likes to see a little tiny bounce in here, curl back down. See a little bounce in here, down. Bounce in here, down. Bounce in here, down. So if this is going to keep going down, you most likely will see an opportunity on a 2-hour chart, even a daily chart at this point. You don't have those really good signals now. You're still technically holding the divergence on the MACD. You're still technically holding the divergence on the RSI, so just be ready if this thing starts to whip the other direction. Let's go over to the SPY as that is at the weekly expected moves, and I'm going to check in on the Qs on my other screen just to see if that's hitting a weekly expected move there, or a daily expected move, my apologies. And the big thing for us is going to be this for today, right? I'm just looking for a bounce to maybe take a short position. That's all I'm trying to do here. Gapped outside of the daily expected move. That's a really bad sign. That's a bad sign. You need to build this back in the morning or else that thing can keep going down. One thing to keep a note of if we're going to see some kind of bounce and why the Qs really need some kind of bounce if the bulls are going to step in any way is because you are still holding the original divergence points. Right now, this would be pretty extended across, and that first divergence point, you notice you don't have it on the MACD. So this is a very skeptical thing to try to buy at this point. So that's why I'm mainly saying, hey, if the daily curls up, that's when I might be back on the bull side. But do I think that is right now? It's kind of up in the air. You know, we'll have to see how data reacts. I think you're very likely to maybe see some kind of rip and then downturn at some point this week, at least on a 30-minute chart. Not a good look for the Qs. I kind of erased my zones just so we could see the chart a little bit more clearly. We know where the important parts are. Bam, that block in there, the gap fill. These are your two very important areas right here. Right, this is where we made a floor. So that would be an important area. This is where we gapped up, and it's in that same area. So the box we had was all of this right here. But I just want the chart to be more clear here. And then you look at this, DIA actually positive. DIA actually positive. Is it holding any divergence points? Actually, DIA is positive and holding the divergence point here and here. We don't have it held on the RSI, but we do have it held from the main point way down low. So weirdly enough, you have a signal here. Now, these aren't correct levels. We haven't updated those yet, just so you are aware. I'll do that for tomorrow's video. Like I said, if we're going to see something bad, you gotta, or you're going to try to get positivity again this week, you got to see us, I think, get back into this zone, I would say in the next 24 hours. Because that's going to be a big problem. Thank you so much again, Short Fridays, for the $10. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, Short Fridays. We won't know exactly what's going on as far as if it's going to affect stocks. I can tell you this. It's causing a lot of chaos, and you see confusion a lot through Newsom and things like that. Confusion of why they weren't prepared, confusion. It just adds to the confusing thing, right? We are still seeing confusion when it comes to 2025, and that's the big deal there. Notice this, Meta actually dropping off the cliff here. So very interesting, Meta actually dropping off here, able to curl down on the 30-minute. That's going to be a little bit sketch going forward. Something to pay attention to. Oh, shit. Wait, I'm going to do this. Real quick. So one thing to pay attention to with this is still going to be daily charts, right? Can that daily cross down? This is what tells you how important today really is. Today is going to be very, very important because this could end up down towards like 580 to 585 this week. This can end up lower. And if you start to break through these levels down here, hey, you can flush, right? We can actually see a flush down, possibly to go and test these areas in here, right? Towards that 560 and 570, somewhere in here. So you can see this break that and end up down here, and that would be a big problem. This is pretty much confirming a lower high. So if that's confirmed today, I still want to lose 598.41, but it would be a problematic area to lose. Going deeper does make a lot of sense there for something like Meta if that's able to cross today. So lower seems to be the standpoint now. So I'm looking for any kind of little bounces intraday that I can maybe see as, I really want a good bounce. I want like a 2-hour bounce, just like these, because now it's like, hey, that negative trend, we did really well. Honestly, I did pretty good at this at least. See a sig, where are all my lines? The heck? There we go. All right, we got zones up on this one. I don't know why this one's being funky. Whatever, I'm gonna delete out of this one and use my other ones then. We'll just use this, still have the zone up there on this SPY, but we'll see what's gonna happen with this going forward. Kind of lost my train of thought because of that. Oh, that was it. Yeah, we actually did well with this though. We knew the 30 minutes showed us divergence, we catch a bounce. Good little trade, weekly expected move, take profit. Head down, divergence at the low, see the big bounce up towards a weekly expected move. Managing a lot of risk, seeing the news getting out of all the upward positions, then we start to see downside. I just haven't been taking these shorts. That's the problem here, right? I could have shorted in these areas, shorted in these areas after the news, and that would have after the data, that would have made a lot of sense, but I have to appreciate the fact that I got at least 2 little trades in there that were actually pretty good. So I'm looking for another one of those now. I might not play this one to the upside, right? I might not play this one if it does something like that and rolls back down. It really looks like you might need some kind of bounce, but we'll see what happens with data. Right now, down, down, down. Apple reversal. Apple is one that I would keep my eye on. I would seriously be keeping my eye on. I know this is very, very tight. I might even extend this out just to see what it looks like. Yeah, this is actually adding up to be, well, a blip here on the chart. We got to see if this 30-minute can whip back up. No reversal yet. Right now, the 30-minute is crossing down into negative territory. That is bad. But look how close this little tiny thing would be. Look how close this little tiny thing would be. Apple is one on my radar that I'm really wanting to react to. I'm looking if Tesla can set something up as well. Notice the 2-hour trying to cross here. I would actually invite that. I would actually like Tesla to do this and then curl back up for just like 4 hours, turn down, start to turn back up. Then we get that nice little wave from the MACD telling us that that's weak. That would be a potential opportunity, and you might see a counter trend move here. You are negative, so that would be a possible counter trend move, and then we'll see if that comes back down. But these are all things that we're pointing these things out in case we need to react. We're not thinking these things will even happen, right? I'm not going with my thoughts for putting money behind stuff. I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is a signal outside of an important move at this point. If you're part of Patreon, you know that. And so this can be very, very important. But I know for the week, because of the weekly expected moves, Apple does have more downside, right? And we are getting to those levels like right now. So this is an area where Apple really wants to potentially build a base. You do not have a strong base here in any form. You really don't. I'm just paying attention to this tiny signal in case that's a hint, but I don't even know if I'm willing to put money behind that because that is a very bad signal with the price action. I mean, just look at the price action right now. You get this rip up, oh, we fail, we're gonna curl up, we fail, we get this tiny bounce, we fail, and then we just don't have any good tapering or anything like that. You're really just going straight down here for the most part. If your tapering's like this, that's very worrisome. But yeah, you're good to point out Apple. Apple is one I would have my eye on for some kind of bounce that could come. And then we see if the negative trend can continue. Volatility, once again, not showing it, getting some kind of retest. We'll see if there's further downside. SPY still remaining right at the daily expected move. Qs remaining under their daily expected move as of right now. This is our first touch into the zone. But that is bad. This is awful. This is really bad to lose these levels. I want to be very clear about that. It's going to take something kind of crazy to build up this from this area. As you've lost such an important level, you're really going to need some big orders to come in. You're going to need some big stuff to happen for this to be able to build back. Those 500 puts on the key is printed. Mr. Dan, good job. Yeah, I wasn't convinced that this was really that bad. I really thought we'd hold up in here and go higher, so I never shorted here. Thankfully, never went long because the 2 hour never curled up, right? The 2 hour never curled up, so I never got faked out, which is very nice. Started to dabble in these areas, and then right when I saw that that 30-minute failure, I was like, okay, that's why I took small positions in here to start before that 2 hour crossed. So I did have to manage the risk of one trade here. Meaning I did take a small loss on this downward move. But I believe it was, wasn't it? It was, I think I redid Amazon. I think it was Amazon in here, and Amazon was very good at showing that flush through these levels, giving me two confirmations, one mainly here, the big one right here. So I was able to really minimize risk in these areas right in here with a small loss on Amazon. So now I'm going to be like, all right, I'm going to be really patient for this, see if we make some kind of floor, look for opportunities. And I think Apple looks like a decent one if it can show some interesting things, right? We still might need to build this as a base, which means I might be able to catch a bounce here if possible. I might not play that one. I might look for the next downward move, play that one, find that move down towards 230 again, and then see what happens. But I wouldn't be sleeping too much on Apple at this point. Also, why on some charts are my lines just not popping up? It is so annoying. So I'm kind of looking like, can we see a strong move past 236? Can we see the daily curl up into positive territory? Still looking for those type of things as we actually are testing down into that little block, right? That little block right here is like the perfect breakout retest, but it's a retest. It could fail, right? We could go through that. We could bounce off it and fail again and go through it, right? We could build up liquidity a little bit and drop through it. So that's what I'm paying attention to. I'm just chilling, sitting on my hands for a little bit, looking for some kind of signal to go into something, and that's it, right? Patience is my game for now. Creative stuff's just XDing. GME is waiting for the gift box to open. Yeah, I think that's probably what it is overall, but this is not what you want to do today. I can tell you that. This is a confirmation. This is actually a good confirmation bar, right? We noticed this one was not the good confirmation bar. This one would be. This would be a good confirmation bar to say there is a higher probability to see this go down towards 28.35. Looking at the weekly expected moves, I think 28.35 seems pretty damn possible. So this area in here, and from this area in here, the daily is going to be crossed down, okay? The 2 hour is giving you the signal saying, uh-oh, that's already bad. And we're seeing if that 30-minute can whip back up. Wasn't able to do it, so this could be the move down to here, and then we see if we can make some kind of base there. That would be nice. But yeah, this daily crossover is very, very bad. DJT is still looking okay, though. Pretty crazy, but DJT just looks like it's about to rip to the upside. If that daily crosses up, like you've consolidated for a good amount of time, that daily crosses up, what happens? Probably good things, so we'll pay attention to it. If the 2 hour crosses down, that's obviously a bad thing. But right now, it's curled up into positive territory. So DJT looks like it's about to make that upward move. We can break through and keep this positivity. We don't see this curl back down. You might bust it out to the upside, and looks like a move is coming there. Justin wanting to look over at Netflix real quick. Yeah, we can go take a peek. Netflix was one that I thought had some decent structure in here. But you notice, once again, not safe from news. Nothing was really safe from news on this drop. And you look at the daily, and where is it? It's down by the center line, and it's perfectly retested in our zone all the way down to pretty much the breakout. So this is a very good retest, and we want to see if that can turn around at some point, right? And you're not really thinking like, for something like Netflix and something like even the SPY and things like that, these things are starting to go negative. So Netflix, though, if it would turn up soon, that would lead you more towards, hey, I'm going to pay attention to retest because this went negative. I'm going to pay attention to the retest of the breakdown. But this actually does have some chance to go up towards those highs and go make a new one. So very, very interesting there. Do you have any reversal signals for that right now? No, you don't. So I'd still be looking for, hey, does this fail? Look at the trend right now trying to go negative. Look at the 2-hour trend right now, very negative. So if that 2-hour can bounce in any way and fail, those might be little opportunities there. So we'll still be just watching, right? We're looking if things are going to actually try to bounce or something. I do want to keep my eye on Apple, though. I think that'll be interesting. 575.35, pretty good support there. So yeah, for Netflix though, I think you gotta be a little bit patient with it. Let's just click into that one more time because you don't have great signals. So something I would like to see is as we're in this zone, let's build up a base in this zone. That would be fantastic. If you're gonna head back to the upside, right, because we haven't gotten any kind of relief from this, I think, right? We've just gone down. You might see that relief soon. And so we're looking for a signal for that. We're looking for some kind of base, I think, in that zone. If you don't form a base, you just get a bounce and you break through, you're probably heading lower. Yeah, I think so. I mean, you can read into it and say, hey, there's divergence right here. You can read into it, right? Look at where the daily's at. Say, hey, we're dropping below the 50. They really need to save this thing. Maybe look at a weekly chart. That weekly's crossed down. That's very, very bad. But that's not crossed down yet, right? You still have a few days left in that. You could always look for the retest of the 5 and things like that as well. See how you're outside the Bollinger, right? Right outside the Bollinger. So you could get some kind of retest of that 5, and then that might be the opportunity to see if you get another drop and that takes you out of the channel. Right, we can still head lower, but as you break out of the channel to the downside, especially if you build up first, very likely to head to the downside again. Looks like earnings coming out on the 21st. Yeah, I think this 2 hours it's pretty much just like, yeah, I'm negative and I have no strength in my base right now. So you're kind of inviting a bounce that kind of fails in this zone to go up, right? Break through the zone again, drop back in and turn back up. That would be the bullish way. Bearish way is just, hey, we keep seeing bounces, we keep seeing it break the lows. Loading up on calls, you think it's a bear trap. I think you have some reasons probably to say that. I think Apple's a big reason you could say that, and I think this 2-hour chart does have something to say here. When you look at the Qs, I think it does have something to say. IWM, starting to see that little bounce there. Once again, this one as well, showing 2-hour divergence across the way. So let's not sleep on it, okay? IWM was very good at telling us the weakness that was going to come. It's the one that showed us the divergence. We just thought it was strange it wasn't on the SPY and the Qs. And maybe the reason that it's strange on the SPY and the Qs is maybe we do end up seeing some kind of upward move to make a lower high or even a higher high, right? We're still going to keep that in our brain. It is very good to think of the other side, right? What do we normally say? Even if you're really bearish right now, give yourself that 1% that you could be wrong, right? Analyze like there's a 1% chance you could be wrong, okay? That's the best thing I can say, because that's what I'm doing. I'm not shorting at this moment. I'm seeing, hey, well, I'm planning to possibly short, right? I'm planning to short, but I want to do just in case I'm wrong and this just heads in the upward direction, how am I going to react? I think that would be the black swan. Probably not. Probably not. I mean, think about it. Think about the hurricanes. The hurricanes weren't, and they didn't get bailed out, like fully, right? So I'm not thinking that at all. A week-long pullback. I think you have some potential. As, like I said, if you watch the videos over the weekend, the only reason that I'm talking about all-time highs is because we did not have the structure on the SPY. We definitely did not have the structure on the Qs. okay? That's the only reason I'm talking about upside. I'm like, something is fishy about this. We have reversal signals technically still on the dollar, still on the 10-year. They're not confirming. We have people very bearish for days and days and days. They are right. But I'm just sitting here going, we don't have the structure we normally do. And we have things like DJT about to cross up and break through. So just some fishy stuff happening. Just some random fishy stuff. Netflix trying to hold up better. DIA holding up better, right? Showing 2-hour divergences down here. Are we going to pay attention to that? Remember DIA, what are we looking for here? Maybe a lower high. Lower high. There's a lot. Do you know what? You know what? I actually was watching something. I can't remember who it was. Oh, shoot. I should remember who it was. But there are some other analysts with way more subscribers than me that still think that DIA is going to go make a new all-time high. Isn't that crazy? Holy crap, isn't that crazy? Oh, crypto. Thank you so much for reminding me about crypto. This is important. This is what I was going to say today. We are dropping down below our white line. That's a big deal. And then I was going to say, hey, this needs to wick up today or else we're in a big amount of trouble. Looking at 4-hour charts, why could this be a good signal all of a sudden? Well, you do have a significant divergence on the MACD. It's not really showing on the RSI. Okay, so you have kind of a weak reversal signal here, but it's in a very important area. I think that's good to talk about. We'll look at if crypto is able to build back up. Maybe Trump's just going to shout out something about Bitcoin again. I don't freaking know. Oil still looking strong. Gold starting to gap down. Man, gold is just the most trip, trap, and everything kind of thing right now. It's just everywhere. Look at this. Amazon going positive. Amazon actually going positive. Amazon is one that I was like, you know, this would be kind of crazy, but you're holding up really well if this stock is supposed to be crashing right now. And you're even holding this. Look at this. Divergence. Look at this. Divergence is still flat here. Divergence across. You're still holding it. So what would this signal say? If we're taking everything out of context, think everything out of context. The only thing that exists right now is Amazon. The only thing that exists right now is Amazon in your technical analysis. If this divergence curls up, what's it saying? It says, hey, I have a good probability to turn up the daily chart. Why do I have a good probability to turn up the daily chart? Well, one, I have that 2-hour saying, hey, that's a potential base. If that crosses, that would be confirming. And I have a daily that's in the positive territory by the center line. And that daily chart did not have a reversal signal. And it's holding up pretty damn well, isn't it? This is what I'm saying. Something is weird here. Something is weird here. And that's all I'm getting at in my weekend video. I'm like, these are bearish signals. I follow my signals. The weekly chart is suggesting crash. Just in case. Just in case. Just in case. It's true that you are correct. NVIDIA was a serious warning here for the market because you would not expect this now. If this happens, this would be wild. You see an absolute crush into an absolute V-shaped squeeze. That would be insane because the amount of people probably shorting NVIDIA is probably insane. PCC still remaining at elevated levels. Kind of crazy, to be totally honest with you. NVIDIA is a big warning sign because it's going to be very hard for that to just go like this. Right? This is going to have to build up over time or something because this is bad. You're going down into your area where you got that bounce from originally, right? You had to gap through 135. But it's bouncing. You're right. It's bouncing. I wonder, did we go down to a weekly expected move? Oh, we actually could have gone lower. How crazy is that? You think Bitcoin is going to sell off further? We'll see. This is going to be a very important day. This is a super important day. Very important data this week too, right? Wonder how people try to guess before the CPI comes out. I'm going to check on some things real quick. Sorry, I'm going to ignore the chat just for a little bit here. I just want to see if my dailies add up to some daily levels here. What, 575? 575. 575 is the biggest put wall for the day. And you have a ton of bearishness coming in. For the week, you have a put call ratio of 2.4547. Now, that doesn't make us contrarian right away. We need to see structure, but this would say actually the market overall is just bearish. Just bearish. This is what I'm saying. You need some big orders to come in to really push this up. For the Qs, looks like 498. 498, very important level for the Qs. As of today. For the week, 500. And where did we just tag? 500. So this is where they really want to try to build this thing back. I think they want to save it there. If not, you're going to head lower. You lose 500, you head to 495. You lose 495, you head to 490. That's how it's going to work here. It's little 1% increments. Yo, how do I... reopen, close tab. I was seeing how to refresh the page. Can I just Control R? Reload without saving. There we go. Maybe that'll help a little bit. So yeah, we're just paying attention. We're not going to react very, very quickly, or we're going to react quickly if we see something. I'm saying we're going to react when we actually see some kind of basing out structure. I did want to check on NVIDIA as well, just to see how if people got bearish on that all of a sudden. Yeah, actually, most likely that bearishness would come in today, but you're looking at 125 and 130 for NVIDIA. So 130 is the first level, 130 we tag it, 130 we start to bounce. So that's your first real put wall. The next one down the line is going to be at 125. All the way down, there's our 125, right? That's the one we definitely want to keep. Let's go visit Apple. Apple's still just absolutely tanking right now. Absolutely tanking. This is why I'm waiting for a bit. This is just the worst looking stock movement right here. Is just straight down. This is crash behavior from Apple, by the way. When you're just heading straight down, that's pretty much crash behavior there, or at least correction behavior, if you will. Crazy to me, but the Dow looking good. The Dow 2 hour crosses up. I think the daily turns up. Oh, geez. Well, wait a second here. Volatility really dropped off there. I guess with the bounce from the SPY that happened. And TLT actually getting a bounce as well. We are not seeing the dollar go down with the market, meaning we can't really pay attention to any kind of rigged behavior. But for now, the PCC at 1.104, people very, very bearish. Yeah, if this starts to go in the upper direction, with how bearish people are betting right now, oh my gosh, that would be crazy. I don't know what would happen if people start to, if some big orders buy this thing up and people start to lose a ton of money on the short side. It's scary, but right now you would more so just say, hey, is the trend going to continue? We still technically do have it on the MACD. You kind of want that violated, or for the SPY, it's on the MACD, kind of want that violated. This one already violated. This one's going to be hard to take out. So you want that to really mess it up on the MACD as well, if you're still bearish. Can I work for you in marketing? Possibly. I would need like 10 more clients. Glory Gaming, if you ever wanted to, you know, try to reach out and find your own clients, I could just teach you and then kind of oversee your stuff, kind of like a manager would. Short squeeze or a flush out. Yeah, I guess that's basically, yeah. Yeah, yeah, laws, you're kind of clearing it up, just very, very simple. I don't like this move. Every news is Black Swan, is expecting a big crash. My bet is 6350 at this point. GKL, you're saying the quiet part in me out loud I'm very skeptical of this drop, but I'm trying to just ignore my thinking and dictate it based on the trades. If I start to just, pound in my own head, hey, we're going to end up at 620, 620, 620 in the SPY, I might do something stupid. I'll say what I think if you guys would like me to, but for now, I think it's more important to just be like, okay, I need to make sure I'm being a good trader. I need to make sure I'm being a good trader. Something about this is off. I can sense that it's off. I can feel that it's off. I'm getting signals from Amazon and the DIA right now that says it's off. But I need to see things proven in order for me to take a trade. The good part is there is a potential trade setting up, right? There is a potential trade setting up, but I need confirmation. Right, I need confirmation. There's like one stock here that I'm really looking at. There's another one over here that's really beat up that I'm still kind of looking at. And I'm going, this is too big of a move right now. Dave, that's my play. Kind of blow off top, then get short. Okay, see, like, if you wanted to blow off top, you need people pretty bearish here if you want it to happen like this, so. C-Wave is brutal, told you. Hey, yeah, you were saying it, Greg. You were saying it. Negative gamma kicking in. That's kind of why I found that level on the SPX. What, 57.90? You can see a snapback, Andrew. You can also see a massive drop. Crazy things happen outside of those levels. That's why I was like, I'm really going to watch this 30-minute and see if it can hold divergence. It's not holding it. It's only holding it on the RSI. I'll still pay attention to it. But you're violating here, and it's too quick, right? So something like a 2-hour or something crossing up would be good. But ultimately, it's just this. Can we buy back above 236.36, and can we cross up this daily MACD? It might mean I'm going to be later into the move, but I want to keep my risk out. So the risk might be, hey, I'm going to miss out on all this, see a little pullback in here, and then we're going to be confirming that up right here, and I can start to dabble in this area and make sure that that's not curling over on a 2-hour near the center line or something like that. All right. You can see snapback moves, but just know this. When you drop out of those weeklies, weeklies and monthlies, you can head even lower. Have you dropped out of a weekly here for Apple yet? No, you haven't. Oh, well, before I say that very definitively, no, you have not. You're definitely outside of a monthly, though. My goodness. We just got into extreme fear. Again, something's off here. Something's off. We might end up with one of these moments, but we got no, remember, we didn't really have indication of this moment. I think we only had 2 days where the dollar was actually coming down while the market came down. And that was a very brief hint. And the only thing that really got us to say, okay, this could make a bullish move is, hey, watch if that could go positive from here. If we could take out this level, that would be pretty bullish. Then we took it out, dipped back down in the zone and went back up. So you might have to see something like that again, where you kind of go up, down, back up, right? Try to reuse this channel. I think that would be a good way to head higher. But this would possibly push you all the way into, this might, if we see some kind of big rip here, this could, if it's quick, maybe February, early February. If it's like an absolute squeeze that just drops, I don't think you're likely to see a rip down now, a rip up then, and then a rip down again. I think that's less likely. I think you're more likely to see this maybe extend into March now if you're going to head in the upward direction. Remember, we were paying attention to January, justified. Now we're going to see if this thing can base out and turn up in some way because this looks a little funky, but we're paying attention to if the negative trends just continue. If the negative trends continue, then this ain't bouncing, right? But we'll see. The thing is, people are also just overreacting to data at this point. If you were going to react to yields, this is why I talk about my brother who's works in the housing market, an MLO. This is why I talk about this. I'm like, really, it's funny because people start to get worried here. We were pointing it out here. It's like, you should get worried here and then be thinking about, okay, now we should be basing out. But instead, we see that overreaction because we didn't react to any of this, really. It's just kind of crazy to me. DJT, your boy DJT, he's booming. Look at that, broke out. That 2 hour was confirmed up. Were you paying attention? I mean, the 2 hour is showing divergence there too, almost. Like really, like almost a double bottom here. Slightly higher low, really close to the center line. I didn't take this right now. I'm still just trying to figure out the overall market at this point. But shit, you look at it and you go, should have took that. Short Fridays, you excited? Byron, welcome to the... Remember we were pointing out this, like, you notice a lot of people are starting to talk up like bear market, bear market, bear market. When were we starting to say this is behaving like a bear market? It was during this, into this, right when that happened, we go, this is behaving like a bear market. We're probably going to drop down to these levels. You know what I mean? That's kind of crazy. And then we're going to see it base out and maybe head to the upside. And then it failed. And we were aware of the risk there, bad data. But my goodness, if you're really looking, this is great bear market practice. Respect on DJ. Hey, thank you so much. Short Fridays with the $50. Hey, there you go. Yeah, DJT. If you're just paying attention to it, it looked very nice, looked very consolidative. I know Short Fridays. I know you love you some DJT. So hopefully that move is good for you. And then remember, Short Fridays, to look at those weekly expected moves on Patreon. We do have DJT weekly expected moves. And I want you to think about where you're at right now. Literally right now. Where this was gunning, and then it magically stops for the last, like, what, 5 minutes or so? Right, 5 minutes, we run our head into it. Now we're going to see what happens. We know there's something key right here that we need to be paying attention to. Now, this is a great move. Is that measured move probably played out? Probably not. But we're paying attention to this and saying, okay, well, as far as options goes, this might be where if you want to see something crazy, it's, hey, let me make some money on this and then leave some runners. That's what that's saying at this level because you're hitting our key point right now. So most likely that's where you'll stutter step or see a retest. Very, very good. Thank you so much, Short Fridays, for the $50. I appreciate it. Thank you for paying attention to DJT because it's a wild market out there right now. But there are always still trades to be had. I'm surprised they haven't halted it yet. Well, they can't really justify halting it. This thing, it has to go up. It has to go up by, what is it? It has to go up by more than, I believe it's, is it 5 or 10%? I don't know. It has to go up by like more than 5% in one bar, and you're seeing a bunch of 1%, 2%, 1%, 2%, 1%. Uh-oh, remember the problem here. Do you remember this, Short Price? Just remember. Just remember. What's going on here? What's going on at this wick? We know what is there. We are aware of it. Loving my QQQ shorts at 534. Oh, I'm sure you're loving it. Loving it, loving it. But thank you so much, Short Fridays. Really appreciate that. Make sure you're paying attention to weekly expected moves, okay? Still have this tiny little divergence on the SPY and the Qs for the 30-minute. This would be very wild if this tiny divergence did anything. I'm not going to read into it too much. Maybe I'll, since this is due for a bounce, maybe I'll dabble in a little play here for the SPY or the Qs, but... Thoughts and prayers out to the people getting affected by those wildfires. It's not something good for us. You know, we don't want people in our community suffering. Guys, make sure to keep Tina in your prayers. And anyone else in our chat, if you've been affected by it, let us know. Let us know. Okay? We want to make sure to be giving you positive vibes, all right? Bear markets make buy the dippers broke. Yeah, that's why, Greg, a lot of the time I'm quick in a bear type market, right? You're quick. You're quick, you're quick, you're quick. How do I think about MSTR and Bitcoin? I think MSTR is completely nonsensical. I think that if Bitcoin goes up, then MSTR goes up. If Bitcoin goes down, then MSTR goes down. So since Bitcoin is down right now, is MSTR down? And the answer would be, yes, it is as of now. You do see 30-minute divergences still there. Okay, they are still there. And Bitcoin actually showing some 4-hour stuff as well. Okay, so all you got to do is really look at Bitcoin on 2-hour, 4-hour charts and be like, okay, I can dictate where MSTR is going to go based on Bitcoin. Notice that's building back. Notice we have a steep divergence on the MACD, not on the RSI at the same time. You can really see how that is below the point. So a little bit worrisome there, not the best signal in the world, but if that 4-hour would curl up on the MACD, it can lead you into positive territory, which means you might be in the next positive trend, right? Now, you want to be aware of something here. Left head, maybe a right shoulder forms. And we see a little structure in here as well. So you're aware of how it can head down. See if that curls down by the center line or crosses and goes through that center line. Gets back through this white line right here. It's going to be important. It's just a very important level. If you lose that level, it can make some massive problems for Bitcoin. Looking at the daily scale, you can see that is crossing down into negative territory. When do we say, watch out for Bitcoin? That thing crosses down. It's not going to be a good thing. And now we're really trying to hold this up in some way. That's a solid wick, though. It's a solid wick. You have a 4-hour divergence on the MACD, not on the RSI. You're seeing DJT pop off, and you're seeing the DIA be able to build better. You're seeing the TLT try to bounce at this moment. We really need to see the dollar and the 10-year yield drop down. That would really convince me that something funky is going on here. But we don't have that. Instead, we just have one tiny 30-minute divergence on the MACD and RSI forming, not confirmed, for the SPY and the Qs. That's all you got. You're still looking over at Nike. We were paying attention to this for a few weeks. Ooh, I like this. I like this a lot. This is a great floor at this point for a 30-minute. Now, this could just be a 2-hour trend move up, right? Your 2 hours very, very negative. It could be a counter trend move up. So what does that mean? Well, I need to be paying attention maybe to a weekly expected move, maybe even just to $73 at this point. You could get a lackluster bounce. Where could you go to? I really like the $73 level. I think that's pretty solid. If you're going to go higher, you can just take this and put a line at every breakdown and see how you react around all three of those areas. Yeah, because the 2-hour is still beat up, right? So this could easily go to one of those areas, fail, and then make a base. It could see a strong move, fail, and then curl back up with a higher low. That's what I'd be looking for from Nike at this point. That is a really good 30-minute signal at that point. We'll see what happens with it going forward. Make sure you're managing risk at all times. Understand the environment that we're in right now, guys. Understand the environment you're in. People are not very hesitant to hit the sell button right now. So be paying attention if you see things roll down. If you need to manage risk, right? Do your thing. Apple is still holding it on the RSI. Very interesting. Starting to catch a little bit here. Now you're testing monthly and weekly expected moves. Dow stocks aren't looking strong. I can't see a crash spurred by a positive job report. Now, it's more so justifiable due to it. There's news due to it. There's liquidity due to it. And it's more so about the 10-year yield heading up dramatically. And then you're just seeing the news highlight the jobs report and highlight inflation. You think, Mr. Dan, you think we're just going to be mostly range bound? I think that's justified as we do have data tomorrow and Wednesday. Unless someone makes a big bet before tomorrow, I do think you're correct to point out some kind of sideways behavior. Did I lag out for a second? Thoughts on Oracle, getting close to that 200-day daily chart. Let me look at my other chart real quick. See if it's important here. The bad part is you just don't have signals towards it. Yeah, you can get a relief bounce, but I don't know if you're going to get more than that. I really don't know if you're going to get more than that, though. So for this, you're looking at the daily chart. I've already looked at the 30-minute. I've already looked at the 2-hour. A relief bounce might be all you're going to get here. And you don't necessarily have structure to tell you early on that that's going to come. You really don't. You might have to pull this out to like a 4-hour chart, and you still don't So this could just be a counter trend daily pop at some point, right? This is still reaching down in negative. This is why this would be very sketchy to just be like, oh yeah, that's going to head up. It's just because there's no reversal signals. You have terrible start. Here you had something. Here you had potential, but you never got that confirmation. You can easily see that. And then here you're just like, okay, we just dropped off a cliff. So what I'm looking for from this, if I want to be bullish on something again like this, is I need it to take back these levels and probably give me a higher low. And then here is where I would make a decision. Right? That's where I'd make a decision. You want a strong move, some kind of buying up to get you down into that, see a curl down, and then get that next opportunity. It's just very risky to take at the low, in my opinion. You want to really see strong momentum there. But, you know, if you have certain reasons for thinking that's going to head up, if you have your own way of doing things more than what I do, hey, that's awesome. You know, do your thing. I would just be managing risk very tightly. Yeah, Oracle was one showing very obvious daily divergence, very obvious 2-hour divergences at the high. Hey, that's dropping down. I really still like my zone. I really like my zone. We always were leaning towards, hey, this could push us down, but what was the problem with that? Well, it's a very tight and it's not on the MACD, you know, fully, right? We didn't get that little turn up right here. Here, we actually get the next point. We see 2-hour divergences, then it drops down. We're looking for our zone. We knew this had a big retracement that could happen. Kind of like Apple, right? It was a lot like Apple, except it actually gave you the reversal signals. Apple looks like more of a retest, while Oracle looks like, hey, it's confirming, hey, the daily is going into a negative trend. Home builders up on wildfires? Man, I don't know that correlation. I'd have to study that for a little bit. HGX actually kind of looking okay. This is what I'm saying. These are going to react more to the yields and things like that, less to what's going on with the wildfires. That's what it seems like to me. And as the yields do have daily divergence, if those start to drop off with data, that's where we can see positivity. And the reason home builders could be holding up better is they were not holding up better while everything else was, right? They could just be holding up for now, waiting for data. If data's good, maybe you get a reaction. You could see a big reaction, right? You could see a big reaction if that's really, really good for them. But that means that if you could see a big reaction this way, you could end up seeing a big reaction that way as well, right? The energy that could pop you up to there, if you get bad news, that energy can be distributed down. So we're just paying attention. Hey, the 2 hours showing divergence, very, very good divergence there. Hey, we follow the housing market a lot of the time, which means we might be approaching some kind of base for the market if we get good data. I think it's very dependent on data, though. Yeah, see, that's very bad, Sid. Palantir's been vomiting for a long time now. Now, the reason Palantir, we were always sketched out about this. You guys remember, we were talking about Palantir like here, and every single time, even from right here, yeah, we were going, I'd be careful with these upswings. I'd be taking profit a little early. You are starting to get some big things going on. Then we actually make the triple divergence point and confirm it, and we head down. We still, for Palantir, you could head all the way down to 58.48. You could head all the way down to fill this gap at $42, right? Unless we can curl this up right now. Look at that daily right by the center line. So do we have structure for that? Not necessarily. I think you have 30-minute divergences in here. You do. You have very good 30-minute divergences. So some kind of 2-hour bounce can happen from this. But I want you to notice it is a pretty damn negative trend. So if you do get that 30-minute to confirm those divergences and then the 2-hour turns up like this, it could fail to create a stronger base here. Which in a bear market, by the way, that means you might have 3 trades. 1, 2, 3. Depends a lot on structure for me, but bear markets, I can play up, I can play down. I just know I got to be quick. What did I nail? Last Monday was a pump and it dumped all week. This could be the inverse. Could be. Laughing Buddha. I just pictured that in my head. A laughing Buddha. That's great. Hey, Bob Johnson, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate you being here in the chat today, buddy. Bitcoin climbing back. Were we correct on calling out the 4-hour and how it needs to buy back up? Ooh, looks pretty good so far. Actually, no, it's mainly on the 4-hour. Thank you so much, Bob, for joining us today. Appreciate you. Yeah, I saw it before it clicked up, but thank you. One piece of bad news further could have an EIX. EIX, yeah, you've said this one a few times, Maurice. Let me look at this. Edison. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's not a lot you can do here, guys. This is just, hey, did you manage risk when the daily curled down after the flagging? Because that got serious. Like we said, everyone talks about this all the time. They always want to catch the crash move. I'm telling you right now, if you follow signals properly, every once in a while, something crazy is going to happen and you're going to make good money. That's all you look for. But throughout trading, it is good to practice good habits. And the good habit here is if I was thinking this was going to go bullish and curl up off that 200 and I see that's confirmed down below the 200 and below the 5 and below the 9 and cross down on my MACD, I'm probably going, that could get ugly, right? And if I had the balls to short this, hey, you're pretty happy with it. You're like, hey, we're going to continue the trend down. Very risky there, I would say. Very risky. Kind of a interesting thing. Really just dropped out of nowhere, in my opinion. But hey, the signals told you something bad could happen, and something bad happened, right? EIX is a California utility company, and that's why it dropped. Well, the other thing is, notice that your signals tell you before the big drop. Signals told you last Monday. When did the wildfires really start? I don't know when those started. Yeah, that's too much reading. I don't want to read a bunch. I got stuff to do. Sorry. Head and shoulders measure moves, 85% success rate. What is your thinking about GME? GME, for the most part, it's confirming bad signals. That's what I think about GME. And Joshua, thank you so much for subscribing. But GME right now is confirming bad signals. If that can change, then it might change. But this is a very bad signal to confirm right now. See, here's the reason that it's bad this time. Why last time were we like, hey, this isn't that bad? This could trend back up. And it still could by the end of the day. We got to see how this posts. Well, this bar right here was your last confirmation. Notice the red mark here, right? The red mark on the histogram. Okay, awesome. What's the problem with the bar? Well, the bar is positive 1. 2, it's above the 9. 3, it might even be right above the 5 there. So that is a terrible confirmation bar, aka we should look for that next move up. Then we made a 2-hour divergence that confirmed, and now we're heading down. That can cross down the daily chart. This is an actual good confirmation at this point. You're getting a drop. That is a red complete bar right now. We'll see how it looks by the end of the day. Below the 9, below the 5, a negative bar below those is even more important here. Yeah, X 30-minute divergence. Well, that might, I don't know if they're going to get bailed out in some way or something like that. That's going to be very skeptical. I would be very hesitant to take an option play on this. It can see a snapback, but I'd be very hesitant to take an option play. If you're looking at it and you like the levels as far as investment goes, I mean, you're in this area a lot. Look at this. This is a daily chart dating back all the way to 2018, and you're right there. But I think that would be very dangerous. That could be bad. AMC still going down. Can go all the way down to $3. And crashed 4 years ago. How many days before GME launched? Crashed 4 years ago. I'll have to look into it. Want to watch if they confirm Edison had nothing to do with the fire. Did they have something to do with the fire? How the hell did these fires start? Who knows? Who's got my back on some info? Spire's usually 575 piece looking good today. 575 is where I believe. Wasn't that the put wall? Yeah, 575 is your big put wall. So 575 might be defended. If you lose that, then yeah, 575 is probably gonna, you're probably gonna end up heading down towards 567, right? But as of right now, you get data tomorrow as well. You can see big reactions. It's a very confusing time, so people are going to overreact to data at times. Confusion causes overreaction. We'll see. Yeah, not a good look there. Oh wait, it was 30-minute, right? We gotta see if this 30-minute heads lower. Nice. It's right at the daily. Then I'm gonna look at some other stuff, but yeah, for today, 575 is a super important level for the SPY. Oh shit. What did I just click on? Okay, we're good. Investing in companies impacted by California fires. I actually think, I mean, if I was looking at it, the one that Maurice keeps shouting out might be something. But am I going to know a ticker off the top of my head for a specific event that just happened? Not necessarily. I'd probably have to research that for a little while. Most of the time, the companies that benefit from bad things happening, weirdly enough, are insurance companies. But well, if they can get bailed out by the government, they could get benefited. That's not the right. I did not say that right at all. What are your thoughts on semiconductors? SMH, still looking at that. I guess actually that would be the time they have to fork out money, so maybe not. 261.17, that was our level we needed to break through. We see the serious resistance. Something that can help you out too is paying attention to NVIDIA at the same time. NVIDIA's a huge weight here. Just don't invest in news companies. Yeah, the best way to invest in with the fires thing is have it convince you not to invest in anything related to California right now. For the most part, daily curling down, that's a bad sign. You don't want that, and that means NVIDIA is probably curling down. Its daily chart as well. You don't want that. That's really, really bad. That's really bad. It means that the downside can easily continue to 125. For SMH, what does that mean overall? It means SMH is probably going to break down. I would just say these levels are very important. If you drop through those, I'd be scared, right? I think this level right here. Yeah, Greg, I like that statement. Right here, I think you lose that, it's going to be bad. Because you're starting to look like this. What do you have overall? Well, you had some sort of range. You broke to the upside and you failed that and went back in the range. So if you break to the upside again, maybe it's good, right? Maybe it's good in some way. But if you break to the downside now after the fake out move, that can really get bad. You can end up down in these areas. So what's my opinion on SMH? It looks really bad on the daily scale right now. If that changes, then I might change. Am I going to short it? No. If I was going to short it, I'm looking for a 2-hour bounce that fails. Right, very obvious level where that could fail. Somewhere up in here, we go like that, then we fail. That's when I would look. But look at the two, it's just not enough reward there for me at this moment. Bro, it's been flagging forever. Now, I don't know if you'd consider it a bear flag necessarily, right? It's from an uptrend move, right? But it's behaving not very well for trying to see the next bullish move, though. That's how you would really put it there. Now, if you want to say this downward move led into a bear flag, that bear flag was technically violated. Right, Greg? Do you see what I'm saying? I didn't say it. I didn't say it, guys. I did not say it. I did not say, do you know what I'm saying? Apple took a short rebound off the weekly, low implied move below the monthly as well. Yeah, Apple's one I have on my radar. So yeah, I'd really just be watching. Does this break this? I would not be long in it. If it breaks this, hey, I might be long in it. This might convince me to actually go short down into these levels. You saw the energy wanted to go, but this all in here, This had more energy than just that. I can tell you that right now. So the fact that this failed, it can easily distribute down. Someone did ask about AMD. I thought AMD was interesting because AMD holding a divergence point here. If you really look, I think it's 4 hour. 4 hour looks interesting to me, right? You were talking about SMH, so AMD, very interesting if it did that. Very interesting. That's all I'm going to say about it. Amazon actually flipping to negative. Let's see if we're violating some stuff yet. Not quite. 30-minute. Do we have a little something forming now? Maybe trying to make a 30-minute base. We'll see. Interesting stuff there. Apple, we got to see if this little tiny divergence can do anything for you. We got to see if this 2 hour can do anything, right? We, you know, you don't really have divergence there on the 2 hour, but you do, like on the 30-minute, have a tiny one here. Very interesting. I don't know if that's enough reasons for me to get behind a trade. It might only equal out to about 3 reasons. Below the monthly, touching the weekly, and a 30-minute divergence. This might only dictate, hey, I'm going to play like a 2 hour move to try to catch a 2% move, make a little 50 to 100%, and then just be out and be like, I don't care if it goes up, I'm managing risk. That would make sense, yeah. Kind of left behind some gaps there too. I wasn't paying attention to that when I was looking at it. I just want to see what the SPY does. I want to see if we try to build up before the data. But like, I have no hope for the market as of now with how it stands, right? I just think it's a fishy move. I have no hope for the market with this look, right? Well, let me say that again. I have 1% hope for the market, and that's my gut feeling right now, which is just like something is off here. But when we look at the dollar and we look at the 10-year yield, we're going, still nothing off there, right? We're heading up again. We're not seeing the dollar drop off dramatically. See if that changes by the end of the day when big orders start to come in. High yield growth still holding up relatively well, actually. Right, high yield growth is actually going up, which is kind of crazy. But now your 2 hours really going negative. See what happens. All right, let's not click around so much. Let me just get it on a 30-minute and watch the SPY for a little bit, guys. Let me drink some coffee. DJT still pumping. Perfect. Right at that weekly expected move. We like it. I'm glad it broke. That's awesome. I'm glad Short Fridays likes to trade DJT because I know he probably took it. Damn, I sold DJT early. If you caught the upward move and you made profit, I wouldn't say you sold early. It all is looking back in perspective. You're going to think that a lot. What I would more so be saying now is, hey, if I think a big move could come from that, if I think a daily chart could curl up from that, right? A daily chart can curl up from that. I still might be diligent in taking profit at a weekly expected move, but understanding this consolidated, and this could be another push like the first one, right? We could take this, let's take the wick there, go up to here and just go, okay, where could that go to? It could end up doing this over time. Right, could end up at higher levels. So that means for me, I'm gonna make profit in the move at the weekly. I'm sure you're in profit. And then you just go, okay, cool. Now maybe I leave a couple runners just to like see if that thing squeezes for a bit. That's kind of how I like to do it. AVGO, one of our new stocks on the Patreon, guys. The 2 hour really close to, actually pretty still close to the center line, so very interesting. Still looking for if this can break through. It's holding up very, very well. You have not violated this point, which I think is super interesting. No 30-minute base though. Daily confirmed down, so maybe some more work to be done here. The levels I really like for AVGO, right in this little area here. I called already, but when you said it was primed, I bought more calls on DJJ. I think it's going rocking more as we approach the end of this week into Monday inauguration. Well, the good part about DJT, if it's going to squeeze, is it's doing something on a Monday. It's not towards options expiration. Well, they'll have a bunch of liquidity to try to suppress things in some way. But it all kind of depends on the orders in here. Can you keep getting calls, and things like that? Push it going higher. We'll find out, but great move, great structure, great move. I should have just done it. I was analyzing a bunch and I wasn't in a position yet. I should have just done it. That was a fun little thing right there. 2 hour was already confirmed up, so higher probability with the 2 hour curled up to break to the upside. Bitcoin is looking like it's reversing. Yep, that's something we were still calling out. Now, no, I wouldn't say that reversal's there just yet, though. It's heading to 135 today. You think it's going to get the retest? It would be a retest at this point. Let's go 30. See, nothing to hold you up here. Nothing to really hold you up here. So that would be a random occurrence. But if you can take things back, right? If things just magically get back to bullish, you see a pullback, see if that positive trend continues, right? If you get a magical move, we still pay attention to if a stock sees a random move without a base, it means I'm probably not in a position. But if that can pull back and then curl up, hey, that's when I can maybe take a chance on something. I think you're more with no structure really here or here. You're more so leaning towards, hey, can this take its time? Maybe get that retest going into tomorrow at some point and then see that turn back down. But remember, we get PPI and CPI tomorrow. Or we get PPI tomorrow, CPI on Wednesday. Is this week our first full trading week? Is this like the first one we've had? I can't remember now. It's been so long. It's been so long. That's so crazy. China updates their numbers this week. Let me go look at that. Go pull up China numbers real quick. Where the heck are you? China. It's from China. Yeah, it looks like China is going to put out their GDP, their industrial production, and their retail sales all on Thursday. And what is it? Today they have little things. They had vehicle sales. The previous for China on their vehicle sales year over year was 11.7% previously, now 10.5%. Forecasted, though, to be 6.4%. So who's looking at China stocks today? Uh-oh. This is what I'm saying. You really want to get back in this zone by the end of the day if you want a chance of going bullish again. The trend is very down, though. It'd be very skeptical, right? Just the gut feeling here. Apple getting a bounce from that. We might have to actually do this today. We might actually have to put our little yellow line up. Things are getting sketchy. There's your signal line. Hasn't crossed through just yet. When things get a little sketchier, sometimes I gotta put this up just to see if there's any kind of confirmation from the RSI when it's only on the RSI. Full trading week with PPI, CPI, and earnings. China 10-year finally finding some support. Yeah, I was seeing that. I was watching some stuff on that. It was just dropping. I'm peeping out BABA today as China reports. BABA, what are you showing? Ugh, nothing really good there, though. Unless it's a cross. Not there either. Wonder if this... Ooh. Huh. Do you have daily divergence? Okay, so you have daily divergence. Wow. Yeah, BABA can get a snapback to 95.86 at some point for a retest. You see how you're building by the 200. I don't mind that. I just want things to go positive. NUE, let's look at that real quick. New core. Daily cross up. I'm guessing you saw a 2-hour, 30-minute in here. That's pretty good. Yeah, oh my gosh, one little blip. Maybe that was enough to convince you. Holy crap. That was a failure of another downtrend move, honestly. You broke the low, though. Then you curled up right here. If you had the balls to do it, it's really close to the center line. I get it. And that's there. Gap up, turn down, turn back up. I don't mind this at all. Did you have 30-minute here to help you out as well? Little 30-minute divergence on the RSI as well to help you out here for this little pullback down to test the 5. Then you just curl back up. Awesome. Hourly chart might be your friend now. I'd be watching out for divergences and things like that, but this is saying, hey, we're going to possibly see a daily uptrend, kind of a counter trend move. Okay, we see a very obvious box in here. Very obvious box right in here. See if you can go test that bad boy. That'd be sick. AVT. I might look at it in a sec. Universal codes. Give me a sec. End phase. Let's look at end phase first. I know some people pay attention to end phase. End phase is not a good sign. You don't want that. That happened yesterday. Well, yesterday, Friday, and you're dropping off. Not good. Not good. You really were trying to do something to head up, kind of failing at this moment. So as this is curled down, I'm immediately like, I gotta see that thing whip back up. If it does whip back up, though, if it does whip back up, you've sat in a range for a while. You break through. You can curl up. You're right by the center line, so don't sleep on it. But the 2 hour pointing straight down right now. So you're not going to get any hints from a stock like this with the 2 hour. So daily curls up. I'd be a little bit like, hey, we can see another move higher, maybe to go test something like this, 96, which would be around your 200 actually. But right now it's curled down, so you've got more time, and I don't think you have a lot of data going on or like good bars going on in the 2 hour or 30 minute. 30 minute, you have something, but you might want to build a base here before you actually see another upward move. Just that can go a long way. A little base can go a long way. Tesla, how we looking, Tesla? Not bad. Holding the divergence point a little bit there. Kind of a blip though, but look at that. We have liftoff on NVIDIA. Oh God. Oh God. Short Fridays, thank you again for the $5 for Nucor. Benefiting from the wildfires rebuilds that will be coming. That could be potential, and maybe that's why it's lagging behind. Maybe that's why it's kind of seeing that upward move right now. It could be potential there. And then CSI is the other one. Ooh. 30-minute divergence all along this. Very choppy bars, low liquidity, right? Low liquidity. 2 hour confirms up. You're still looking like, hey, watch out for a lower high. But there's one thing going on here that could say there is no lower high coming, and that's this strong-ass bar right here. Very, very strong. Is this even the one? I don't think this is it. No, I looked at the wrong thing. Canadian Solar. Okay, sorry about that. I noticed halfway through, I was like, this looks really... No, that's not it either. California Steel. Let me see if this has... I can't find a ticker on this. Oh, it's a private company. I need to read. I need to actually like read the whole thing. I just see the ticker and I start going. Hey, but still. Random stock of the day. Vietnam Construction Securities, baby. It's a strong signal right now, actually. I don't know enough about that one, but AMD actually still holding positive. I want to look at Amazon. Dude, I do not mind the Amazon look right now. I just don't. I just don't. I don't mind it at all. Solar is the future of energy. I'm gonna look at AVT on my other chart though. I gotta see the volatility in it. Is it crypto or what? Like, is it AVT the ticker? Like Avnet? Or is it AVT like a crypto? There it is. There's the dollar. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Spiked up to 10, all the way back down to 230. Actually, all the way back down to 142. Then back up on daily charts. That's kind of crazy. Looks like this thing just sees like 100% rips out of nowhere all the time. Like it curls up on the daily, 100% rip. Curls down on the daily, goes down from 3 to 2, cuts in half almost. And then it curls up again, you see another 400% rip. So this one's tough. I'd just be looking for good signals from daily charts and seeing if I can put some money behind stuff. Like if I see a curl up in positive territory, that's when I'd probably do something with this, but I don't like to play those things. I like to stay away from things that people are really willing to sell really, really quickly. It's very hard. AVT is the funniest chart. Bro, it's nonsense. You had a period and you still got 100%, 200% rips in that weird period where you were just kind of going down over time. Looks like it's holding pretty well here, though. I want to see if that daily can go positive. Why I don't mind Amazon is because if I look at the RSI, I know I have this signal lineup, is holding the divergence point. It's holding this, it's holding this. And then I look at the MACD and I go, that's divergence too. If that 2-hour curls up, that means that Amazon can make a daily uptrend move. What is it? It's in positive territory. So that means Amazon, if it confirms that, it's telling you there's a good probability that that daily is going to cross up. And then if that daily crosses up, there's a good probability you're testing the high going to make a new one. That's why I'm like, I'm not scared of Amazon. And also, you're very flaggy in this area. You saw a little drop down, but you're pretty flaggy. There's just like one little blip right here. We kind of talked about Amazon over the weekend. DIA still just kind of going. If that 2-hour confirms, once again, it's not the worst signal in the world. We're above SPY's last week's low. Yeah, I just want to see if this 30-minute can confirm some kind of counter move up. Microsoft as well. Like I'm saying, Microsoft was one I had my eye on. I was looking for this to make some kind of double bottom. So Microsoft's one I'm actually going to look into real quick. Look at some pricing. If I can see some positivity here, I kind of like it. Why? Look at the 2-hour. The 2-hour as well. Microsoft is saying this is a strong base, and it can see some kind of upward move here. I'm going to take it from the close. Maybe go test the highs. I still think Microsoft, though, one thing you want to be aware of with Microsoft, if all this plays out and Microsoft ends up going up, watch the daily. The daily is in negative territory a little deeper, so I'd be watching out for a lower high. Right, like this isn't going to be perfect, but we're just going to draw a line across and go like this. Well, you had a head and shoulders here, failed, but all of this could be a left shoulder. What if that's a right shoulder and this is all going to be slanted? That would be interesting. Oh man, stocks are interesting now. Don't trust this bounce with my grandma. You're gonna put your grandma on a bounce? Wait, what? No, I hear what you're saying. Not a lot of credibility to the bounce as of now. What if you? Here's this, Greg. Here's what I'll ask you. What if you continue to see a bounce with PPI? What if you continue to see a little bit more of a bounce, maybe even towards a weekly expected move with CPI? What if you see that get there? Ooh, what if we see a gap up after CPI over a weekly expected move? Ooh, that's what I'm saying. What would get you bullish? You know what I mean? You see my text on CPI? I might not have seen it. Sorry about that. Markets may retract to the bottom of the breakup candle. Oh wait, I'm not looking back far enough probably. Sometimes CPI pumps and PPI dumps. I believe the timing as of right now, unless I got it backwards. Yeah, PPI's first. So you'd be in the opposite there. Let's look at what's forecasted for it, right? PPI forecasted, last one was 0.4. This one forecasting consensus coming in at 0.3. That is lower, so they're estimating a little lower. CPI, looks like we have core inflation rate month over month coming in at lower or even, so 0.3, 0.2 for the month over month. The core inflation rate year over year previously came in at 3.3. Looks like we're supposed to stay flat on that with the forecasting consensus, just so you're aware. They're estimating 3.3. I'm just saying. I wonder what would happen if we just get good news. Come on, Apple. Confirm a base here, dude. I don't know why. I just want like a reason to take Apple. Because one day you could pump, then the next day dump, no matter the numbers. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Kind of like the first reaction isn't the right one. People are like, oh my gosh, we have hope because of PPI, and then CPI just flashes just a little bit hot and people overreact and then we dump. I think that's valid. The thing is, anything you say in this environment right now can be validated. I think you're validated to have an assessment that we could go to all-time highs. I still think that's valid. I think it's a little less credible than, say, saying downside at this point. Christina, let's go look at those. Let's go look at those. And Greg, you were talking bear market. Wouldn't that be very bear market-like? That'd be very bear market-like to do that. As far as IonQ goes, you're trying to hold that line in the sand. Divergence at the high. At some point through this, you got to say, okay, if I see a 2-hour divergence or a 2-hour anything. Weird thing is you violated the divergence and then it took a crap. That's kind of a bad thing. But yeah, not the best look here. Very negative here again for the 2-hour. We'll see if that can bounce back. Looks like right now you're trying to see if you can, reject here, cross back up. That would give you a good sign that we actually could see a 2-hour move to go retest the 5. You want to take that back. We really need to take back 40, 50. I was a pair before, but Greg makes me bullish. Won't they now have to cut or hold in June? They're best. They cannot raise, guys. I don't. In a world where they raise, the craziest of things could happen. I'm just saying, like, if they raise rates, the craziest of the crazy could happen. You're more so looking at they're probably going to hold rates as long as they can, if they even can, or you're looking at a rate cut still. You're going to get like good data all week, and then stocks are going to pump, and then they're going to say, see, we can still cut rates, and then people are going to celebrate that, maybe even go higher, and then they're going to keep cutting rates even more aggressively, and then one day you're going to just notice, oh, stocks made a topping signal. Like, that's what I see, but I'm kind of open to anything at this point. As far as it goes, Greg, a lot of people who I see talking about all-time highs are looking at this weekly chart. As far as it goes, some of the people that I say I would trust, and they're still looking at this zone. They're still looking here. They literally are looking here and here. So our zones are pretty spot on, and I like to just see, I like second opinions as well. So I look for people that I trust, and I go, hey, what's their opinion? And they're like, yeah, if we need to be aware of a potential upside move. Some of them still talking about all-time highs, right? And that's fine, but they're also giving both sides, and those are the people who I like. So they're talking about these areas in here. And those are the areas, really, this is the area we had to be talking about. Obviously, we were first talking about here. We saw some moves in there. Now we're breaking that, so now we're paying attention to the next zone. And if we keep seeing a little 2-hour move up, 2-hour move down, 2-hour move up, 2-hour move down, 2-hour move up, 2-hour move down, we could end up down in this zone. So that's more what I think that they're leaning towards. And then they're saying that's when we see something. This is where we see something. So I think you have potential for that coming up. We want to just pay attention to the data as closely as possible. Close my shorts. Well, that's good. You should make sure your fly is zipped up, guys. You got to close up those shorts, all right? You make sure your fly is zipped all the way to the top, all right? Left LA due to the risk of the fighter cuts, not cleaning brush, and climate policy. Yeah, I think more businesses leaving California by the day. People already left their housing, like, right, moving to Texas and things like that. That happened a while back. It started happening. That's what I think, Kalani. You don't really have the direction just yet. You don't know if you have continuation or if you have maybe even a bounce here. And then you want to see, hey, is that bounce going to sustain itself? Or are we just going to run our head into another lower high? And the only thing that's going to push you through this purple line and you see something crazy is if you get probably back-to-back good data. That's right, Sid. It's just bad leadership. We talked about this a little bit last week. It's just bad leadership. That's all it comes down to. And like the thing that bugs me is people get annoyed with rich people not giving money to help, and the whole point is your leadership failed. That's the thing you should be critical of. Yes, you should encourage rich people to help, and rich people probably should help a little bit if they would like to, but it is their choice. The reason that it's bad is because of leadership. That's what you need to tackle first, so it doesn't happen again. Actually, you probably need to tackle money first, right? The government's probably doing you would say the right thing, but bad news is good news. So need PPI to be higher for rate cuts? No. No. No, you need PPI to be lower. 220 strike on puts. Apple, I think you got to be aware. I think you got to be aware of where you're at with Apple. So since you're telling me a position there, Raydell, I'm going to tell you right now, you are violating a monthly expected move and you are violating a weekly expected move. As of today, you did that. You went and touched it. So this would say 68% chance to land right here by the end of the week, or even up in these areas, I think. You know, well, I don't know exactly where the weekly is for Apple on this chart. I'd have to pull up my weekly expected moves. You can get those over on Patreon right now. Try it out for $7, you know, for a month, and then see how you like it. But monthly expected move violating, weekly expected move coming into play, and you have some small divergence here on the RSI. So I would just say if I have puts for 220 and then this curls up on this MACD, I might be seeing a counter move, and that might hurt my my trade for a little bit. It just means you could see a 2-hour bounce soon. If you get those to confirm, you can see a 2-hour bounce. But you do get data, and this thing is flushing, so that's just the time to go short. Right there, right there. The time to be like, okay, when are we going to see the next bounce? So here's overall what I'm getting at with Apple. You're trying to short here. If you're getting it now, if you already have it, hey, congratulations, good job, right, Raydell? But this is kind of where you're at, and you could see a moment like this, and then you want to look for the next opportunity for that to drop, right? And then you would say, okay, now we're going to see another trend move. Maybe I took something right in here with the data or something, then that comes down. And then you say, okay, weekly expected move again. So what's likely to happen? We could catch a bounce. You don't have to. It can continue to be crazy to the downside. I'm just stating how, you know, good habits are. And for the week, for me, on a Monday, to take a short position on a stock that just hit a weekly expected move in the first hour and a half of trading, and we have all the rest, you have tons of hours left of trading for the whole week. You could land back here, right? 68% chance to land here, only a 32% chance to land right here. But you also have a 32% chance to land up here, right? So that's all, right? It's just good habits. I'm not saying this can't drop further. I know it can. If I think it can, maybe I would take profit, but leave some runners, leave a couple of contracts, right? That's all I'm saying. It corrects for a few days before establishing the new base. We'll look at GME maybe again in a second. Yeah, Raydell, I appreciate you saying thank you. Apple 220 puts for March monthly took a week ago. Well, you're probably liking those. They probably look good for you. I'm just saying you're outside of a monthly, and this is the other thing, guys. We didn't even talk about the monthly, okay? Let's just pretend that 236.36 is the monthly. It's somewhere in that area, right? But this means that you have a 68% chance to do this, end up here by the end of the month. So do signals on this 30-minute, as of right now, look like they can head down to 220 all of a sudden? Or do you think they need to build up and then see another drop? That's all I'm saying. If you don't have a long expiration, I know you have March, then you would say, okay, this has divergence. Is this going to hurt me? And you'd weigh your risk to rewards and things like that. I think you're due for something like this that they can then drop you again if you're going to continue the trend. That's all I'm saying. Let the price come to you. Yeah, we let the price just go up. People always ask, hey, what price are you thinking about buying? Well, whatever the price is when maybe this thing crosses that yellow line. The only reason this yellow line is here today is for Apple right now. Right? I need something to dictate when this is likely to cross up when this divergence, since it's only on the RSI, I'm going to use the RSI this time. It's just a good, yeah, that's all I'm trying to say. I'm trying to talk about this in a good habits manner, but understand this can make that move. This is a dramatic drop. You have weeklies looking bad, things like that. But it's just like, is this a good opportunity right now? Or was it a better opportunity when it curled up to the center line and then you saw that confirmed down into negative territory right here, and then we held down there the whole time? Right? Was I scared of this cross up? Well, it never went positive, and it's still heading in the sideways to down direction. Then we see a drop, and you go, oh, I'm feeling good. Yeah, and where you take the position can establish like how far or low you're expecting something to go. Right, so I would say this, right? If I want risk to reward, if I want to see if I can catch a bounce on Apple to go up to, say, like 240, 245, whatever I want to say, right? Maybe up to the gap fill, right? 243, something like that. Well, if I see this cross, right, maybe I see this go up like that, and I go, okay, that's enough. That's my at least three reasons to make a decision. I made a decision. I'm going to take Apple. What would I be doing? I'd be paying serious attention if a 15-minute cross down. And then the other thing I'd be paying attention to is what would be my risk to reward? So your risk would overall be like, okay, I'm willing to take this, right? Maybe the weekly expected move is where I say, okay, I'm not going to play with anything down there, so I'm going to put a stop here, right at the weekly expected move, which is actually a tiny bit lower, right? But, and then my reward could be like, say, this gap fill for the first take profit or a weekly expected move upside. But I can tell you right now, I think the gap fill is right at the weekly expected move upside, about there. So that's all I'm getting at. You can see a counter trend move for a second, right? On shorter time frames. Tesla is still just waiting to see. 236.50. Yeah, so ours is 236.36. I just went down into the bars and I was like, okay, which one had the most reactions in that price? Looks good. Hardly dropped after from their highs. AVGO, we'll have to look at that. Oxy doing it for now. Oxy doing the thing. And then we might go check on GME for a moment. Oxy doing the thing, man. Still going. Remember Oxy? Oxy was that Warren Buffett one that we were looking for. I believe it was a weekly chart to curl up. That actually did, so that's good. Some divergence down at the lows. Great cross up, continuation. We'll see if it can continue. A lot of the time things won't go up in a straight line, but a reaction to here would be very good. That's how you break through. If that holds as resistance, you don't get that to curl back up in any way on like a daily, then that can keep heading down. So now you've seen a strong move and you're looking for like, you know, where is that going to stop and where is the higher low for the daily chart if possible. USO has been looking good for a while. Since we really started talking about this down in this little consolidation, it broke out. Probably should have kept my contracts on this or put them back in. I just wasn't paying attention for the next cross up. That's where YouTube sometimes bites me in the butt, but that's okay. Still some good trades to be had out there. I think we were more focused on Amazon and other things. Great move up so far. No divergence in sight. Nothing there. Let's look at futures or at least US oil. Yeah, nothing really there. Just some divergences saying the 2 hour might back off. So a likely thing that can happen from here. And maybe this is where Greg has a point. Let's read into the oil chart. Well, if inflation's still going to be the play, maybe we see this subside with PPI. Maybe we get some good news or something that subsides, and then we see that turn up with CPI. Very possible. Big wicks on the NASDAQ. Yeah, still bundling up towards this daily expected move. No divergence there. We just like the SPY because it actually has at least an RSI divergence. Notice failure to cross. Failure to cross, 22 minutes left in the bar. Let me go check on GME on my other screen. Oof, GME, not much hope. The only thing that's holding is another indicator I like to use, but that one I don't put a lot of credibility in, so that's unfortunate. AMC not really seeing it there. GME is bouncing off of the trend line. Let's look for the trend here for GME real quick. You might see my cursor move across, but I mean, I would say for the trend move, you aren't even really there yet. I'd be looking at more like 30-50. 30-50 doesn't look bad. We'll see. Breather before a flush sometime this week. I think 2-hour charts might agree with you on a lot of things. I think 30 minutes might even agree with you. Once again, this is a very skeptical signal. It's still far away from the center line, right? We actually blow that up. Decent amount of room here. 30.46 is where it should hold. Yeah, that's kind of around where I'm seeing. I just gave a general place there, 30.50. DJT above 40 now? Dang, girl, look at that thing go. Dang, girl. She moving. That's just Trump, you know what I'm saying? I didn't do much for a while. I actually don't think USO was like the most tricky as far as taking a position for a month out. I just wasn't paying attention to it again. I think I took too many of those plays for these moves, right? I was paying more attention to these. So I totally forgot about it back in the day, right? Back over here with all this happening. I just totally forgot about it, which is unfortunate. What up, Mohammed? This seems like the market is on a mission to hit a downside target. Then a Trump pump into February. That would add some validity towards March. I think you're right to call out. I mean, I just don't think a lot of stocks don't have it, but one I would just be seriously paying attention to is Amazon. The other one I'd probably look at is Microsoft, but Microsoft's starting to dip a little bit lower, so we don't like that. We don't like that. Google breaking to the downside. DJT, the only thing that seems to be good. Weirdly enough, SoFi. SoFi trying to make a double bottom here. Weirdly enough, SoFi. Daily by the center line, no divergence at the top. 2-hour divergence for a double bottom possibly. 30-minute divergence right here. Trying to curl up right now. Not a good confirmation though. Remember, it's got to be a good confirmation. What's the other part to this? Right, it's got to be above that 9. I got to see a good move like up to here. Hold that, get past the 5, looks good, but 2-hour divergence popping up for SoFi. I don't know if anyone's looking at that. Like I said, relatively, if you really look at it, it's like, if we were really flushing, yeah, this is a downward trend. But if you're really flushing, you're not going to see that structure from SoFi. So SoFi not flushing is what I think. So maybe it's something to pay attention to, that's all. I don't mean to nag on this issue, but New Core Steel seems like the best upside play with the Dow rotation, Trump in office, and these wildfires they own. It might be. The thing is with this guy. And you're seeing the upside, so I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm seeing a 2-hour move up that just got its pullback to the 5. This could be the real move up, right? You're even in an area where you really wanted to get to see that consolidation to break through, I think. Let's look across. Look at a daily, maybe. Weirdly enough, so back above 146 would be great. Yeah, so 146, I'm going to move this line. That was our red line. We didn't take it back. I think you're looking at something like, I'm just going to leave it right there. There's probably a little zone right in here, right? That's all I'm saying. Can this turn up? Hell yeah, let's go. Let's turn up. It's fine, right? We have weekly divergence on the RSI. That's great. So this could just shoot up, yeah. But it might take weeks and weeks and weeks to happen, right? That might take a few months. So we're just talking about, hey, the 2 hours curling up, you break through these levels, you continue the uptrend moves. I think it's not bad. Do not cross the red line. Thanks to whoever pointed out the Nike trade. Hey, there you go, Short Fridays. You gotta say thank you, Short Fridays. Short Fridays wanted to look at Nike. Short Fridays has been looking at Nike for like a couple of weeks now, I feel like. So you've been really paying attention to that one. Yo, 5% would be so crazy, dude. How do we chart the Dow? I still like to do DIA, but we can look into the Dow and just go, okay, are we holding the divergence point on the 2 hour? Yes, we are. Okay, do I have any 30-minute reversal? A little tiny double bottom here for your RSI that just confirmed. We'll see if that upside can continue. I just think the 2 hour confirming up is a better signal. It's close to the center line. You're still holding the point as of right now very flat. You're holding the main point back here. So we'll see what happens with it. But you start to violate that, you can head a little bit lower. And once again, you head a little bit lower. What's going on here? Right? So there's still going to be a way up. There's going to be a way down. We just have to pay attention to the things a little bit closely. Yeah, Apple is one that's on my radar right now. Still just waiting. Things got to prove themselves. 30-minute chart there is all I'm looking at. Thank you so much again, Short Fridays, for the $20. Really appreciate it. Just know you're never nagging, man. You're pointing out good stuff. Someone even thanked you for bringing up Nike and stuff, so don't worry about it. Oh, if they won't let you chart DJI Short Fridays, look at DIA. Can you pull up DIA? Let me know. Monthly implied 44.50. I think with the 10-year yield, Greg, you weren't asking me, but I think with the 10-year yield, I think it ends up going down. I think it ends up going down. That's just what I think. I saw the reaction from the people in housing, and now they're all taking the bad rate, and now they're going to see that thing come down. That's what I think. But that's a think, right? It's not proven. We got to see it proven in daily charts. DIA is good. Okay, awesome. You can do pretty much all the charting with DIA. You're going to see things very, very similar. 30-minute here. 30-minute here. See how it's like roughly pretty much almost identical. It's going to be maybe a tiny bit off, but 2 hour there. Got rid of the divergence point, holding the main one. Dow Jones is getting rid of the divergence point, holding the main one. Yo, that could be crazy though. 5%, people might lose their minds. Like we might see another big drop like this one if that happens. Just saying, you want another moment like this, you get that rate to 5%. I mean, I think housing rates right now are what? What's the mortgage rate right now? It's what? 7.7, maybe just 7. Let's see what Freddie Mac's got for us. I've got 6.93. Anybody else? That's so wild, man. Kind of looks like just a floating little bar there for volatility. Really wonder what's going on with this thing. That 2 hour confirms down, that would be interesting. What would next week have entail for us as far as data though? Not this week, but next week. No, I don't think you could. The thing is, because if you say that they're going to come down next week, that would have to go all the way into almost, that might even have to go all the way into January 29th, all the way into January 29th. You're talking 2 weeks. Because then you get the Fed interest rate decision and the GDP on January 30th. January 29th, you get Fed interest rate decision, Fed press conference. And then January 30th, you get the GDP growth rate. So I think it is whatever we decide this week, most likely will be the direction until January 29th or January 30th. That's what it looks like to me as far as following the data. Yeah, that's good martial law. Try to teach him though, right? Do your best to try to help him out. See what really point out like what look at his last trade, see what he did wrong. Everyone should hear. If you have friends that are trading stocks, and they don't really pay attention to technicals, just try to tell them a few things if they can, because it actually can help more than you think. Another leg down. Apple, very skeptical to say there's another leg down. Very skeptical. You need a 2-hour move, I think, before you see another leg down here. That's just a think, right? It can head down. It's pointing down on every indicator. That means down, 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 down. I'm just saying you have a little divergence on the RSI. You're at a weekly expect move. You're outside of a monthly. So does the market dip a lot when these run? They can sometimes run together. I don't honestly, like, if you only talk honestly about it, I don't know what the market's going to do if this happened. Like, I'm trying to think of what happened with Volkswagen, what happened with the railroad company back in 1920s or something around there. But you would say if these things, I think it's more like this. Does the squeeze actually fully affect things? Does GME actually hit the $1,000, if it even is going to squeeze, or is it just going to melt up over time? If you see that thing squeeze to probably $1,000, yeah, you'll probably see that affect some stocks. But who's to say that's going to happen, Hey, that's good, Short Friday. Seems you're paying attention to the right stuff. Starting to curl up on a 30 for GME. Yeah, I just don't like the positioning of it. Now, that was okay in the past too, so I'm not too worried. It's just I don't like that. I just kind of want us to give a bad confirmation bar here. Like, come back and see that close green right here. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but that is a good confirmation. Trump says DJT to 1,000. Like, sell for collateral. Yeah, Chris, that's pretty much what I'm talking about. Because their collateral are stocks, right? Assets in the market. Maybe trying to hold today's VWAP. Yeah, that's true, martial law. Oh my gosh, 4.802. This thing is just climbing. No end in sight for these yields. And now you're done. Now you're done. You're done. You might be cooked here. You might be right to call out 5%, because if you don't get data to cause a reaction to this tomorrow, you're at 5%. Yeah, if you don't get any kind of data tomorrow, this thing could react to freaking 5% today, and I wouldn't be surprised. But that just means TLT's taking a crap. Something we can look for is something that sometimes helps when I've traded TLT is when I get the move for it. Let me go look at that. What's the implied volatility for TLT? Whoa, you don't see that too often. Weekly implied volatility for TLT, 18%. That is higher. Usually you're only at like 12, 11% every week. So it's a little bit higher. And then, let's see, where is TLT at right now? It can head lower. That can head lower this week. Man, what is going to happen with PPI? What is going to happen? We haven't even gotten a 30-minute cross up to see a potential short play, right? Damn. Unfortunate. I'm buying TLT in the near future. It's getting towards my 8250. My 8250 is my close my eyes and invest level. But we're getting close to there. I might have to think about it if I see reversal signals in any way. Looks like another flush coming. You want to be aware of another flush that can come, guys, just because we're not doing anything. If we do this all day, you can see another drop, right? Think about it this way. Tomorrow we're going to get a new daily expected move. So if you see a flag at the end of the day and you get bad data, where are you going to head to? Well, probably, or a daily expected move, probably to a daily expected move, and you're going to see that. I think it all depends on the data, though. I'm kind of sitting around just going, Apple's pretty low. What's this data going to do? Oh yeah, China, yeah. Yeah, I know. And they get some data too. Someone pointed that out, so we'll be looking at that. More data tonight? No, no real data tonight. Your first bit of data, they have, some China data, M2 money supply coming out tonight for China. I don't have a time on that though. And then the PPI at 7:30 a.m. before market open. Notice it's before market open, so you probably won't be able to fully react with your contracts right away, unless you're doing futures and shit. So you won't be able to trade that too much. We'll just get the news. That's supposed to come down. PPI is supposed to be good news, technically, right? People are scared of inflation. The yield's going higher. So, in order to go up, people want to see those rates come down. So if you want to see those rates come down, what has to happen from PPI? I think you got to get a lower reading here. Whipsaw those traders. Dude, I'm down for a whipsaw. I'm so down. The thing is, at least the market's getting more fun. It's so much fun, like back-to-back fun, right? We have fun here. We have fun here. If you were paying attention to the consolidation we were drawing, you might have had fun here. But this is where it's just gotten so much fun, right? So much fun. Weekly expected move sell, drops down, 30-minute divergence up move, goes towards the weekly sell, sell the rest after data, come down into this area. Holy crap, we're breaking the channel. Are we going to see some kind of reaction? It's a lot. It's really entertaining. And so that's when I like trading. Loving the volatility, little becomes a lot way more often. Exactly, and the reason I like it is because you make little 50 to 100% plays very quickly, and it's very nice. You just pay attention to momentum, see some 30-minute signal, take it, get a 2% move up, see a daily or weekly expected move tag, and you're like, sick. I'm done. I dig it. Joey, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, just so you're aware. That's my thought. Waiting for it to. I gotta see signals to take a trade, though, right? I'm very, very chill, very like, okay, let's just see. I thought they were higher than that, Sid. Maybe that was the Michigan 5-year inflation expectation. Has to be a play on the UVXY on a swing trade. I wonder what the smart move would be. For something like UVXY, I like to do my analysis on volatility. You are noticing some divergences pop up for UVXY. That's fine. I don't see them for volatility. What I'd be looking for from UVXY, 30-minute divergences possibly. So what I'd be looking for is, hey, maybe this 2-hour pulls back, right? And what would that lead to? And that's kind of what Greg was saying. You could get one piece of good data, one piece of bad data. So what I'd be looking for here is just like volatility. Hey, does volatility confirm down on a 2-hour? And then do we get that good stuff, good stuff, good stuff? Then Wednesday hits, we get CPI and that trails back up and you just see this go like this. That would be a great moment. That's how I'll say it. Does that make sense, Short Fridays? You smell what I'm stepping in? Yeah, it just depends. 575, the important level for today, right? So we still just have our important levels. 575 is the first very important level for today. Really, 580 is kind of a put wall for this week, and you're already below that. So 575 is the next one. Then you have 570. It's kind of just like, hey, I'm going to go down $5 every level I lose. You lose 575, it starts to be likely for 570. You lose 570, it's likely for 565. Why would I pay attention closer to 565? That would take me outside of my weekly expected move and at the bottom of my zone. So that's when I'll really be watching. Here, hold on one second, guys. I have a little bit longer I can give you of my time today, but I'm going to take old man upstairs real quick. He's whining at me, so give me 2 seconds here. Great time to look at the Patreon. You guys, weekly expected moves become more and more important as things get volatile and things get crazy. Having the the updated levels every single week for what options are expecting for a heightened move or a lower move. Very, very good. We're seeing that from Apple. That's why we're paying attention to it as volatility is higher. But I'll be right back. Patreon courses, all those links in the description if you want to check them out. If you just want to chill for a little bit and watch The Spy, I'm going to put you guys on a 30-minute. I should be back in about, a minute and a half. 2 seconds Turkish. Alrighty, look at that, it was quick. I didn't have to let him out. My wife's gonna do it for me so I can hang with you guys. Daily and weeklies be fire, that's what's up. Apple is the most interesting for a squeeze. Yes, exactly. Thing. Yeah, that's what I'm genuine. I'm like, I'm interested, man. Is this tiny little 30-minute divergence gonna give us a hint of a squeeze? Okay, and Joey, pay attention to this. I'm still looking at Amazon. I'm still looking at Microsoft, and I'm seeing stuff here, man. I'm seeing stuff. Meta's like falling off, but it's still holding. Remember the range it's in right now. I'm just like, Nvidia's fallen off. That one can go lower. But it's just like Amazon, even Tesla. I'm like, we haven't curled down. Why haven't we curled down? You know what I mean? This is awful, right? So why haven't we curled down? Maybe we'll just do that tomorrow with some more data. I don't know, but I'm really interested if at the end of the day, we're all going to be talking about all-time highs in like a couple of weeks. When all of this is done, when the selling is done, I wonder if we're going to be talking about all-time highs in a couple of weeks. I'm super interested in Apple, man. I might be buying that with both hands, or Microsoft. Sorry, I meant to type VIX. Yes, I checked the 10-year on monthly chart for UVXY, and it seems it can't hold long-term above 31 level at most. I checked the 10-year on monthly chart. Be careful with looking at bigger charts for UVXY. At least if you're trying to do like an analysis looking back on how it behaves and blah, blah, blah. Just be very aware that this thing has a lot of decay. It is always decaying. Okay, so if I pull up a monthly chart even, it's always going to be going down, 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 down. Okay, so just be careful with it. But VIX, yeah, if you're looking at the monthly on the VIX, oh, you meant to say VIX. Okay, good. Yeah, VIX, a lot of the time, I have some key levels that I like to see touched, right? I look for resistances above these areas, above these areas, above these areas, big resistance above these areas in this little zone here. And then the biggest resistance is like, okay, crash territory. How bearish are people getting? Okay, we're going to see a snap reaction. So the first one of those lines is 20. The second one of those lines for me is 36. And you'll notice we get a lot of reactions lately to 36 over the past few years. So I'll be paying attention to that. Right now, the daily is confirmed up in positive territory. The weekly is confirmed up in positive territory. Not a good sign. So you want this to go, you know, back to all-time highs. You need this to subside. You have to get this to subside, like probably this week if you want to see all-time highs soon. Yeah, just make sure, because it's just UVXY is hard to do analysis on unless you're looking at like a 2-hour chart, maybe. And I'd really make sure it's matching the VIX, right? So what I like to do is I do all of my analysis on VIX. And if I see a 30-minute divergence, like right here, we'll do this. 30-minute, remember we were calling out this. This is what led to all the selling. I'm glad we called it out because it was the one signal I found that said, hey, there could be something serious going on here. That reacted up. So at this point, when that reaction happens, I don't even really look at UVXY. I might look at it for like which option price, like pricing I want to take, which option strike price I want to get. But other than that, I'm just going, okay, when this crosses, I buy UVXY. That's kind of how I treat it, right? I don't do analysis on UVXY. I just know, hey, this is a strong base. Okay, go. But I didn't have a lot of faith in this signal, and I guess I should have, right? I didn't have a lot of faith in it, so I love playing volatility, and I didn't take it. Unfortunate. This would be interesting, Greg, too. We see the selling continue and then subside early tomorrow. Little 30-minute divergence. You need to hold quantum for the next 15 years. My brother works with a dude who's like a genius, or he worked with a guy who's like a genius. He like left his computer science position to go work on cryptos with a few groups. And he's like he is genuinely a genius the way he talks about stuff. he's someone who has made millions of dollars off of just like understanding certain coins and understanding what's behind the curtain and things like that. And I'm just like, dude, tell us about him. So he actually messaged my brother and gave him a few quantum stocks to pay attention to. And then another guy told me, I don't know if it is APLD. I think it might be. I don't even know if this is a quantum stock, honestly. But I think this is the one that everyone was mentioning to me. So I'm interested, for sure. Wonder if we can make a base here, right? Turn back up. Quantum might be on the uptick after AI, so we'll see. Buy some Dogecoin. Musk owns it. I made a lot of money off of Dogecoin just from buying $100 worth. I turned $100 into $6,000, baby. My brother took 200. He bought it at the same time as me because I convinced him, and he was willing to put 200. I was like, I'm just throwing $100 at it. He puts 200. It got worth $50,000. And then he held it. It went all the way back down. I think he made $15,000. Where can you purchase Doge? Well, I think now you can just you won't actually own the Dogecoin, right? I think it's like some kind of fiat thing, but you can technically buy it on Robinhood. I think we bought it. I actually bought it because this was before it was on Coinbase or anything. I actually bought it in I can't even remember. I think I had a Dogecoin wallet and everything and purchased it and sent it to my Dogecoin wallet or something like that. I had like a Windows looking, I literally had like a Windows looking Dogecoin wallet like on my thing that was just like, you own Dogecoin. Like it was just like a little thing like this. And I was just like, okay, it says Doge and the amount I own. And I was like, that's it. And then I had it for like a year. I got a new computer because that computer actually crashed out, and I had to sit there and fix an old Mac, like a really old Mac, because I had it on a Mac. And I was just like, this is sketchy and I need to sell it now. It was a little bit of luck. I mean, I was just like, a lot of people, I was mainly just doing it from a marketing perspective. I saw Dogecoin gaining a bunch of searches on Google Trends. I saw that it was super, super cheap. I had traded it like once for like a little bit of a gain, and then I just said, oh, no, that was before. So before that was when this trade happened. So then I was just like, hey, the chart doesn't look awful. It's starting to pick up in the news. Let's throw $100 at it, see what happens. And man, something happened. Do I think Doge is sketchy? Actually, weirdly enough, apparently Doge functions very, very well. Yeah, apparently the transaction times are not bad and things like that, but I formatted a hard drive of 400 Bitcoin on it back in the day. Holy shiz. I have a man crush on Musk. Oh, God. Well, just don't have another kid with him. He's got enough of them. Actually, I don't even know how many kids he has, but that's fine. I'm still critical of Elon Musk sometimes. Like, people thinking he made PayPal huge and things like that. It's like, that just didn't happen. I'm always like that. But I do think at the end of the day, sometimes he's a little bit of a pumper. But that's all. Other than that, you got to appreciate everything he's done. I mean, he's done more than what, NASA in his time, almost. But would he be able to do that without NASA? That's kind of the thing. Big debate amongst pro traders I see online on channels. Do you believe that all gaps get filled eventually? I mean, if you're talking about volatility, yes. VIX, yeah. A lot of gaps end up getting filled on VIX all the time. If it's on a random stock, no. If it's on a random stock, no. If it's on, even a stock that's been around for a while, I'm not going to say it's always going to be filled. No. Now, as far as the SPY and the Qs go, I would say this is probably the most likely area where you'll see gaps filled are SPY, Qs, and Dow Jones. IWM, I think you might have the opportunity to leave back some gaps at some point. You know what I mean? But you would say these indices are very likely to fill those gaps, if not like almost 100% likely. If you use the word eventually, that could mean in 100 years. You know what I mean? That's the way I think about it. But to say every stock has to fill every gap is just, that's ridiculous, because stocks go out of business, you know, companies go out of business and things like that. So I'd say it holds water maybe with the SPY and the Qs is what I'm willing to say. You think the Qs gap gives you it? I mean, that's the Trump gap, right? That's the Trump gap right there. Look at that, November 5th, remember that? Would I buy puts on AMD? No. I wouldn't. I don't see a 2-hour trend move for the next short, right? I want something like this. I want that to confirm down close to the center line. That would be more an opportunity to me. Even on the 30-minute here, you're going, okay, well, is this an opportunity yet? Could be. Right now it's holding up, moving sideways, looks pretty flaggy, right? But this would be a very short-term trade, and maybe this needs to get up towards that center line and go longer, and then give me a good cross down. It's just from this standpoint, if you really look at this, you're going, when's this next move going to happen? And you're just like, this thing's pretty beat up, daily crosses down, we can see more downside. But I look at a 2-hour and I just go, hey, we've gone down for a long time, we're oversold. Can I get a reaction and then see something down again? I'm just too worried about the potential for risk to reward, because you're right at the middle of your range. KSS, didn't I look at, oh, Kohl's was interesting. As far as this goes, I don't know if 30-minute charts are going to help you too much. You can look for divergences and things because you're forming one now. I'd still be looking at bigger time frames. You've failed the divergences here, so that's kind of a big deal. You could be in a whole new downtrend. All right, so the daily scale, what would I like? I would probably like this daily to turn around, cross back above this yellow line. Notice it's not going to be on the MACD at the same time, so you're kind of looking for a rejection there, which means, there it is. Okay, so 4-hour chart curls up. Maybe I can take a chance with it, but this is a very skeptical one at this point. I mean, look at that move. That thing is not something that I'm very excited to try to take an option, especially for an upside play. It's already at the bottom. What do you mean? I mean, right now I see it just went like 1 cent lower while you're talking. I don't see a bottom. You're in an area where bottoms can take place, but this is why I'm just like, for an option, difficult. If you're thinking, hey, I like the stock, I did my research, I maybe like, you know, monthly or weekly signals, okay, it's like that would make more sense to me. Investment would make more sense to me, but it's also Kohl's. I mean, unless you think there's a big short seller problem or something, I just don't see Kohl's being the absolute best business, right? I'd have to dig into the numbers. You actually have to go into the numbers with that one, right? And I like to trade, so I'm just like, I'm probably not going to go into the numbers. Is there any news that can turn this around? PPI tomorrow, CPI the next day. Will it turn it around? That's the question, right? It can. That's the key word, right? Remember, language matters. The words you use matter. Can it turn it around? Yes. Support you see for Google. Macro support level for Google. You're really consolidating and matching the high. So for something like Google, if it's going to drop further, we have those key levels from the past, right? I don't think you're going to end up there unless something really bad happens. What I'd look for is, one, it's holding up sideways. So you're seeing if this can break through in some way. Right now you've confirmed you've broken to the downside. That's a bad thing. So maybe you want to point out some levels. Well, we might want to shift those up anyway, because those might not be. Let's shift up this one. So the first point I'd be paying attention right around, actually that might be perfect right there. I really like this. And then the next one you're going to look at is gap fill, right? You could pretty much draw a zone in there. You see the wick for the retest. Failure to break out, right? Failed twice. 2-hour divergence pops up, daily turns down, daily crosses back up, and then boom to the upside. It's great stuff. Great stuff. And now where do you want to maybe go back down to? Well, you might want to test that breakout again. If this test, if you're going to go down again, though, you could break that and end up filling the gap first. I just think that would be a big drop, and you've moved sideways for a while. So I was thinking, if this triangle broke, I was really thinking that retest was the possibility there. That's all right, Inspirational Likes. We let people do what they want to do with their money, you know what I mean? Damn it, I said it. I said it, guys. Today's over. Damn it. Now I gotta go cry. Because I said, you know what I mean. But looking at this. Looking at this. Looking at this. Chilling. Last question, do you believe in buying at all-time highs on mega caps and setting your buy order outside of the high resistance price? Setting the high resistance price. It depends. See, that's the thing. That's the bad part about it. It's like Short Fridays. And thank you so much for the $5 again, Short Fridays. And keep asking. You ask as many questions as you want, my dude. Like, seriously. It's not that big. You're awesome. We appreciate you being here. Selling your buyer outside of the high resistance price. I'm not someone who... It really depends on the setup. Okay, so here's the deal. This here, you're kind of talking about something like this, I assume. I'm just going to assume. You're talking about, hey, this is the key level to break through in order to maybe see all-time highs again. So you're just saying, hey, I'm going to place my order like here, see if that can break out. All right, there's some problems you can run into, which is this could wick, this could hit that, you buy it, and then it immediately just sells off. There's some problems with like this could break through, and then it could just keep going, and that's kind of what you're hoping for. But what I like to do most of the time, and I'll talk about GME with it, is break through, retest, then see that head back up. I like to take retests a lot of the time. If the move before it was very strong, I like to take the retest. I like to take the retest on like a little 2-hour curl down. And I'm going to show you GME to kind of show it off. Down here where I had my last order there was here. I was looking for this to break, right? Notice it's above this high. So we were looking for that to break. Notice it broke and it ran up for a little bit. I actually didn't buy GME right away. I actually saw, hey, maybe this is going to turn down and retest that breakout area. And look at this, look at this. We retest right in that area, just barely above it. And that right there, after that curl up, that's when I go, okay, now I'm comfortable. And then look what happened after that. And then bad things. But still, it's like I get the breakout, a little tiny retest over here. Breakout, move extends. I can get really amped up in my emotions and say, oh, I have to buy. Or I can just go, hey, what if I wait for that to curl down and retest and make sure that level's important? And then I see that curl up again. Does that make sense? Yeah, exactly. But people can hit the sell button at any point. And even though there's no price action up there, there are orders up there. So what you can see a lot of the time, Short Fridays, you could end up seeing a call wall outside in an area where we've never seen price get to before. Why? Because of options. Options can have a ton of orders there. So you want to see those levels. That's why I like retests a lot of the time. Okay, good, Short Fridays. I'm glad that clicked. Hey guys, I do have to hop off for the day. I do appreciate you guys being here today. We're going to be paying attention to the market as more data comes out this week. I think that's the best thing that we can do. We can still just be chilling. If we get the opportunity to go short, hey, this trend's probably going to continue and we can go short. If we get an opportunity to go bullish, well, we see some options for that, right? We see some options for that as far as Amazon, Microsoft, and things like that go. And then we have to understand the environment we're in is very cautious oriented, which means we could see more downside. We're in a lot of negative trends. So what I'm paying attention to is, hey, do I need to manage risk? If I take an upside play, I would really be watching weekly expected moves. I'd be really watching daily expected moves. I'd be really watching, if we need to manage our trade at any point. I think that's the big thing there. And that's something that might not have clicked with everyone over the weekend. I do have this gut feeling we're just going to end up going up soon. but that's nothing to trade off of. I'm looking for the next good opportunity as a trader. That's different, right? That we have confirmed weekly crash signals. Let's treat them very seriously and then see if that daily curls up on some charts. Hey, we might need to manage downside risk for a little bit. And then if it ends up turning right back down, awesome, right? If this thing goes up because of the data this week and then it hits that weekly and then we see, oh, that sells off, what's likely to happen? Well, we could drop down again. So I'm just paying attention to the signals for the most part. I just think there's something a little bit fishy about this drop. But as far as it goes, the dollar and the 10-year still scaling up higher, and we just got to see what happens with some data tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to learn, you know, we've talked about a lot of stuff today. If you're having trouble, if you're a little bit confused, if this really beats you up, guys, if this really beats you up, the course in the description is really going to help you. The full technical analysis course, you can literally get it. It's 90% off. You can get it for $100 right now. And we're going to do this sale every single year. So that means if you don't get it now, you got to wait a whole year for that 90% off sale to come back. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about. That's all I'm going to mention about it. If you have questions about it, we'll be live tomorrow morning. You're more than welcome to ask some questions. But if you do not like this kind of market, well, then you probably need to learn a little bit more, and you can do that by hanging out with us on the channel. If you really just want the information really, really quickly right now, you don't want to have to watch 100 videos or something like that, hey, you can just get that link down in the description, the full technical analysis course for only $100 right now. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Make sure we're managing risk, but also let's look out for those opportunities, okay? People are pretty fearful. Maybe we can catch a bounce and make a little bit of money. And then if that bounce turns back down, maybe we can make money in both directions. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace out. Later, skaters.